You're listening to the Podaholics Comedy Network. Podaholics.com.
Welcome back. This episode of the Setup Podcast features Senior Julian Erosa, aka Juicy J, an old skate buddy from the mid-state days from Yakima, Washington. He is currently a professional MMA fighter, former participant of The Ultimate Fighter, the UFC show. I forgot to ask him how he did on that, but yeah, the dude's legit. And we met up with him out in Vegas. It was a really good time. He grew up with Alex, so he's old pals with Alex. There's a lot of reliving good old times on this podcast. Hop on to youtube.com, type in the Setup Podcast, and then just type in like Nolan Culver. And then that way, you'll be able to find us, because we only have 5 subscribers, and if you type in the Setup Podcast, you actually won't even find us. You'll find a bunch of different YouTube videos about how to set up your podcast. But hop on and subscribe. If we get 100 subscribers, we can actually change our URL to youtube.com/the setup. So that's like a major goal for us. iTunes, the Setup Podcast. We're on Stitcher, Google Play, all thanks to the Podaholics Network. Check out their content. I'm going to be on Hollingsworthless with Jay soon. He said he wanted to have me on. I don't know when I'll actually do it, but if you're like, I just want to see more of you, Nolan, well, it's coming, according to Jay. So message Jay, listen to one of his Hollingsworthless podcasts. Be like, hey, bruh, get your bud Noel on there. So thank you for joining us, and enjoy this long, fun episode of the Setup in a hotel. I think we were at a place called The Link on the Strip in Vegas, and we had some drinks and we chummed it up.
Welcome everybody to the Setup Podcast with Nolan, Anthony, and Alan.
I want to say that I'll keep going. My bad.
I'm just saying it's just,
I didn't mean to interrupt
to me, and I think I've said it on a podcast before. Is
on
video
on
games,
one podcast.
the other I think it was just me and Nolan, which won't come out, but it was I think skateboarding was in this era has been heavily influenced by video games.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and all that shit, like flip in, flip out, like that super tech stuff. I think that when that stuff came out,
where did I see that?
I saw that.
Was that on Motivation 3 when they were talking about like how like nowadays like kids like imitate like the video games they see, and like now it's like all the video games that they have are just crazy, and you can do anything on those games, and so they just want to go outside and do that
and
shit.
Try it.
And
try it, and it's like what?
Like, because they were saying like Tony Hawk Pro Skater back when we were around, they would do all the basic stuff, and then you would do the super crazy move, but it would be like the secret move. And so like we all thought we couldn't do that shit, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely,
but nowadays, like you play skate, the game, all the skate games that they have, and everything's like super technical, and everything looks realistic. So those kids are probably just like, oh fuck it, I'll just go do that.
Skate is the best skateboarding video game ever.
Yeah.
It's
Skate 3.
Skate 3. I don't know why they didn't make more of them.
David used to have a demo of it, and I'd play it for hours at his house, just a fucking demo of it.
I don't know why they didn't make more of them.
That's funny. It was a Skate 1, I think.
Thoughts?
It was just regular skate.
Anybody with the thoughts on why they haven't made more of these? Can you please stop putting the microphone into my fucking mouth like a dick?
I'm not a big video game player. Except for Mortal Kombat on Nintendo 64, I've been whooping my homeboy's ass. Like my buddy George, he came and brought it here. He's like, oh, it's going to be fun. I'm going to whoop your ass on Mortal Kombat. Now you don't want to play no more because I whoop his ass all the time.
Hey, come closer.
Okay.
But yeah, besides that, I don't play very many video games.
This is gonna be
Yeah.
And then you sit between.
Have you played the UFC games at all?
No. Not really.
Oh yeah, you move.
I just play with myself like a lot.
Yeah, with your balls.
Can you
Can you hand me that
And
beer?
then
Just
Jules,
your shaft?
pull your chair, like, there you go.
wait.
I feel like we're going to talk about your dick a lot
I
today.
want to ask about.
Maybe.
Wait, I wanna
No,
ask
we
about-
will. Because I have a story I want you to tell.
Oh, yeah, it'll come
I
up.
want to ask about. I
For sure.
want to ask about fighting.
Oh, yeah.
So
Hold up. Should we do like a building like where you're from and all that shit, and then
No, I'll do an
just fucking
intro.
do it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It'll come out
So
naturally.
we're already starting, kind of?
Yeah,
We're live,
we've
baby.
We've been live for like 10 minutes. So.
I mean, we're already talking about it. We're with Julian Erosa. Hey, Jules, say hi.
How's it going, guys?
You've been talking this whole time.
Yeah,
They
if you
already-
want to follow me on my Snapchat, it's Juicy J. I'm gay 69. Just so everybody knows. if they want to holler at me on Snapchat.
And it really is. That's not a joke. It really is.
I hope someday that you like get into like a main event or something like that,
Yeah.
and they have to like plug your fucking social media.
Dude, you know what's funny is
That's funny.
when I was because I had the Snapchat before, and I was in the UFC, and I remember they told us that they just started getting the Snapchat stuff going with the UFC fighters, if just so your fans could see like the backstage and like kind of behind the scenes of all the UFC fighters, or their favorite UFC fighters, and they're like, well, you can do it's optional or whatever, and I was like, I don't know if I should do it. Is there any way you can change your name? And I was like, because my Snapchat name is not a very good one. He's like, well, what is it, man? And I was like, well, it's Juicy J. I'm gay 69. And he was all like, well, he first he was all like, he was like, how'd you come up with that name? Anyways, I was like, well, it was Juicy J 69 was already taken, so but I'm gay in between. So that makes me wonder who the hell is Juicy J 69? Yeah, that guy
Probably
probably
the Juicy
yeah,
J.
yeah. And so.
He's like, I'm Juicy J, but I also want to let people know what I'm into, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And so I ended up just not doing it because it was optional. So I was like, I didn't even know how to change it. So I was like, fuck it. But
Are you worried about that at all? Are you conscious of that when you do? Because you've done other podcasts, right? And other interviews and
yeah, I've
stuff.
done a lot of other like
Or
interviews
radios and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I'm
for
sure. Are you ever super cautious about maybe some stuff coming up and it's like, fuck, that hurts my image as a fighter?
You know, honestly, right now it's kind of a social club game, like especially with the UFC, because I'm 21-5 as a professional fighter, and I have I have a bigger record than a lot of good UFC fighters.
Yeah.
And even and my record's like really good, in particular with like just people who have, when you get over like 20 fights, you're dealing with guys who had to fight good guys. You can't go, you can't. I mean, you can get like 7, 8 of your first fights. You can kind of fight just random like tomato cans and get your record built up a little bit. But once you get past 10 or 15 and 20 fights, you're fighting the best at your level. And so for me, it's like for the UFC not getting me in, and it's like I'm not, I'm just, it's all about who you know kind of now. And so I really don't care about how my image is. It's just, you got to perform and fight. And honestly, they like characters like that. I mean, look at Conor McGregor. That motherfucker says whatever he wants, does whatever he wants. Even the Diaz brothers, and they're the two most sought after fighters.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
Having a big mouth is a
Two
good
Diaz
thing.
brothers?
Yeah.
I thought there was just the one.
Nate and Nick.
Oh,
So
there's
Nick's-
been two
so-
this whole time?
Yeah, so Nate is the one who fought Conor, and Nick is a weight class above him, and he fought in Strikeforce forever. And then,
OG.
yeah, he's
I
an OG,
see.
and he got, what's kind of shitty is that he got banned from the UFC a lot for marijuana use, which is bullshit because.
Oh, that's the guy that keeps smoking weed and gets kicked out.
Yeah, but it's so stupid because he fought Anderson Silva one time, and they both got busted. Anderson Silva got busted for performance enhancing drugs, and Diaz got busted for marijuana, and Diaz got in more trouble than he did. And it's like, give me
Really?
a break. And
But one gives you an unfair advantage.
exactly. But
A
what,
clearly unfair
I
advantage.
think what it is Diaz is kind of like they're like, I don't give a fuck kind of thing. And I think he had gotten in trouble so many times, it just compounded the issue.
Right.
But they have started coming out with like right when I got in the UFC, I remember they were switching over and letting it be like, let your THC levels be higher before fights and stuff. But 6 hours, so basically you just can't. I mean, the levels that they went from, I don't know exactly the whole levels thing, but I remember it was like 10 times bigger. So like, you basically just couldn't get stoned before you fight,
Right.
right after you fight. For 6 hours before, 6 hours after, they give you a P test. So,
Uh-huh.
as long as you didn't just get fucking ripped right before your fight, you'll be all right now. And so, but the whole Diaz situation, I think he's eligible to fight now. He just hasn't really got a fight yet.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a fighter that I saw, he won a fight, and post like his press conference, he was like hitting off of a CBD pen?
That was Nate. That was Nate.
Okay.
Yeah, he was, and I think that was probably after he'd already got drug tested. Because I remember the only time I really got drug tested was right before my fight. So, but they say you could potentially be tested like within 6 hours before and after your fight.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but
So if you go out drinking after you win a fight, you could be like,
no, you'd be all right.
you'd be okay.
Yeah,
Like
well,
alcohol is one thing.
I think after your fight, it's all good. I mean, obviously.
But what if they test you 6 hours after the fight? You like it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You're at the video.
I believe they only have that rule in case you get really hurt. You have to go to the hospital.
Yeah. That's that's for
Because
for sure.
I was listening to an interview and they usually go in there right after the fight, get whatever from
Get
you.
it done,
Yeah, you always do your post-fight physicals because they want to make sure if anything's broken or whatever that you can get it figured out. You know, most of the time though, if you have something that's kind of broken and you don't really know if it's broken or not, you won't know until like hours later because
Adrenaline.
the adrenaline's going, you're numb, you're just pumped up for the fight. So
I want to know about the transition from skating to fighting. Because we were like, so you were in the mid-state days, you were how old?
oh man, I was 15 years ago. I mean, literally, like that's
No,
like
not.
13
Well, I would say like 10 years ago, not 15.
It was 10 for me.
Well, even for we
But you
started
made, like,
started like
12 years ago.
yeah.
15 years ago for sure. Skating is.
Yeah, 15 years ago was probably like when all of us were
With the
skating
crew,
together.
yeah.
The crew was skating together. Mid-state happened like 2-3 years after that. I
Yeah,
would say. Yeah,
right.
so yeah, like
That
16,
makes sense.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you guys know the twins?
yeah, Ben and Bryce.
Ben and Bryce.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
Those
were.
guys used to come up to Ellensburg and fucking rip that skate park.
Yeah, they're
apart.
amazing.
They've
They're
always,
so
yeah,
good.
Bryce is still like shredding like crazy. Ben is like kind of a family man. He's working and shit, but he still shreds it up too, man. But
Those guys were amazing.
insane,
Really good.
dude.
Bryce
Yeah.
is a major bull ripper, man. That guy fucking
Really?
gnarly.
Yeah, they both would. They would come to the skate park and you couldn't tell which one was.
Well, the only way you can you can tell
Yeah.
is that Ben's goofy footed and Bryce is.
Oh, I didn't even. I
Yeah,
never
regular,
even-
but yeah, you couldn't really tell. And when I was younger, I didn't pay attention to those little details, so I was just like, oh, he's shredding up, he's shredding up.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he going switch or he's going regular? I just figured they were both good as fuck, and I didn't know. I mean, I just figured they both fucking tore it up. All right, so anyways, the whole transition from like mid-state or just from skateboarding
Yeah,
to
like
fighting.
when did you kind of stop focusing on skating as much and getting into fighting? Because you
Well-
were always fighting.
yeah.
Well, no, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. See, I almost want to start from the beginning because the first time
Start from the beginning.
Okay, well, I'll start from when I first saw Julian. The first time I saw Julian was when you had a shaved head. You were wearing like these skinny
Oh,
faded
yeah.
jeans, the wool socks, and the eye pass.
Yep, and I had
Yeah.
beet red cheeks. My cheeks were so
yeah.
red.
And his head shaved, and he's hanging out with his kid Dusty Van Patten, and they're both like really good, like young, small though. They're small kids.
We probably sucked really bad, but in our
No,
minds,
no,
in our
dude.
minds back then, like I mean, we were. I mean,
you guys were like 14, and you were
Yeah.
kickflipping a 9-stair. Though.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that's
yeah,
pretty legit.
yeah, we were doing some pretty legit stuff, but
Kickflip 9 stair at 14, that's impressive.
No, they were good. They were good.
we were throwing ourselves down those stairs for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
But
maybe
when you're that little.
Yeah,
I
Dude.
think I have a theory. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just like, I was trying to do that frontside 180 down that stair today, and like 3 tries in, I was like, I'm not
This isn't gonna
I'm
happen.
not doing this. I'm not 15. I can't just
Yeah.
like keep throwing myself
Yeah.
down this set of stairs.
I can't jump down this 3-stair today.
Hey, it was a long set. It
Hey,
was a long 3 stair.
you know what? Honestly, after the first couple of good slams I took today, and they weren't like major by any means, but after I took a couple of them, I realized how hard that cement is,
Well,
man.
no, that's why. Like earlier, before you got there, no, you just like stuck
No,
the
yeah.
mic like in my
You
mouth.
just stuck it right
Before you got there, I was just trying to do like a little K grind on that like side ledge, and
Yeah.
I just fucking fell straight onto my elbow, and I was like, I'll try to board slide that rail.
Yeah.
But anyways, to get back to it. So, you've always been really good at skating, I think, right?
I think I've always been just like someone that's able to like just kind of naturally athletic, but just one of those people that can kind of catch on to anything.
You're
know?
right.
Anything that I have interest in, I always feel like I need to put work in. But it's always, I won't say it comes super easy, but it's easier for me because I enjoy it. You know,
Right,
so
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
I do is usually what I enjoy. So whatever I enjoy is I'm gonna do good at. You know.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously, like if you guys wanted to go, play some fucking like some random game that I never want to play, or it's something I might do.
Ping pong, pool.
No,
all
I
that
love
shit,
it. But I love that shit. You know what I'm saying? But if we went and did something that I didn't like to do, like fold sheets all day, I'm probably not going to be good at it because I just don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Or if I got to go
You'd
work
be
8
good
hours.
at it.
You'd be so good
maybe.
at it, man.
I appreciate
Yeah,
you guys.
dude, for
you
sure.
know?
Your last name's Erosa, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not to play the race card, but
What are you? What weight class do you?
I'm a
fight in?
featherweight and a lightweight.
You would be a featherweight champion sheet folder. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
And the
But-
pillows are made out of feathers and
But-
shit. So
Yeah.
I think that 'cause
tie
when
in
I
there. Get that.
How do you guys get anything done? I mean, you guys-
Okay. Fuck.
I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
No.
it's all good.
Anyways, so this is Alex speaking, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's Alex.
No, me and Julian. I probably know Julian the best out of, or
Oh,
I've
for
known
sure.
Julian
You
the
definitely
longest.
do.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. Out of everyone, we rode from Midstate together. I remember skating.
What about your boy Rick from LA that was killing us?
the homie? Where's he at? He asked me, he's like, "Yo, what happened to your homie? He just left." And I was like, "Oh, he's probably smoking or something." And he's like, and then it's just like, "Bro, he's not."
That's really funny.
I thought that the whole
That
time.
was hilarious. But anyways, I just remember you started getting in fights and saying "fuck it" a lot. Like you'd be like, "Oh, dude, this is good. Like, don't jump off this bridge. Fuck it," and just
Yeah.
do it and shit. And getting in fights and not taking anything and never losing, really, right? On the street fights you got into.
I'm undefeated in the streets.
Undefeated,
brother.
motherfucker.
I want to say I'm undefeated. I mean, it's whatever. The thing about street fights is that they're over. They begin and they're over really quick. And most of the time, most people that want to start street fights don't have the balls to actually like fulfill them.
They just want to talk shit.
Right.
Yeah. And what
Send it
happened to
down.
me was there was a summer, and I think it was like the summer I turned 18. I was just transitioning out of high school, and I was still kind of a small guy, but I remember just telling myself that I was like, fuck it, man. Like, if someone wants to fight, I'm not going to I'm not going to puss out about it. I'm just going to go for it. And so I remember that one summer I got into probably like 10 fights. I remember with random people, like I remember one time with you, Crawford, you and Dustin come to the skate park.
Yes, I was gonna tell that story.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and tell it.
Oh,
You go ahead and
all
tell
right.
it, or I'll tell it.
All right.
Or
Oh, yeah.
Let's just both tell it. We'll add to it.
All right. Well, I remember you guys came to the skate park, and I had backed Dustin up for a lot of fights, and so
I'm just saying you can talk.
I figured, well, these guys, you and
So Dustin and I were at McDonald's.
Yeah,
and
you tell the beginning
and
story,
these,
yeah.
In
these
West
hicks
Valley?
we're talking
McDonald's,
on some
West-
of you, on
on
some
some
of
of
you,
you,
I know
yeah.
where that is.
And these guys were talking shit to us or whatever, and we're just flipping them off, and they follow us to the skate park, and we get out, and oh my god, this guy's talking shit, and Julian walks up, takes his shirt off, has a skateboard.
because that's necessary.
Get-
No, I didn't have my skateboard.
Every
Oh, no.
person, every
No,
dude
you
I've
did.
ever,
That's part of the story. That's the funniest part.
every
of the
dude I've
story.
ever met that fights people, that will fight people, always like
Yeah.
throws their shirt
Well, it's
off
smart.
before.
You
No, it
pull
is.
up
If
your-
you got
the
nothing
shit
to
out of
grab
you.
onto.
Let me tell you the reason why I would always take my shot before a fight. Only because it was one of my best moves that I used to know when I was a street fighter. My best move was I didn't really know how to fight, but I just figured I'm going to grab whatever they're wearing. If they're wearing a shirt or sweater or
Right.
whatever, I'm going to grab it by the collar right here, duck my head, and punch right above my hand that I have their collar. Because their head's going to be right there. And so I would just grab their
Strategy,
collar,
dude.
duck my head, and start hitting. And as I got more comfortable with fighting, I kind of strayed away from that. But that was my number one go-to plan. But so we're at the skate park, and these guys tell me about the situation, and then we're just standing there. We see them driving by on 40th, and they're like, "Oh, those motherfuckers right there," because they yelled at us like everybody else does. And they pull in, and the funny thing about it was there was it was him and a couple of friends, or one friend at least, and only one of them walk up to the skate park. You're gonna start a fight with guys with their skateboards and shit. Like, you're always gonna lose. I mean, you gotta come packing.
And there's like a group
Yeah.
of us. There's like 8 of us.
Yeah,
here.
that's what it's
And-
like. It's like trying to fight me out in front of a fucking comedy club. You're gonna fight me when I have 80
all your
friends inside.
Well, you know, it kind of reminded me of like a little bit more mellow version of the movie Kids. You
Oh,
ever
okay.
watch the movie Kids,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The old school movie. Those kids are fucking doing all sorts of shit, and like that's how the skate park always was. I mean, I don't know if it's with every skate park, but that's how 40th was. We'd eat, sleep, fucking do everything.
I saw my first pair of titties at the 40th skate park.
I got stoned for the first
the
time there. I mean,
shitty Yakima park.
Yeah,
from the back
oh
in the day?
yeah.
Okay.
I love that park.
Yeah,
though.
I mean,
With the worst little mini ramp that
Oh,
like
yeah.
you can't really get any, and
That
then
mini
the
ramp was pretty
bowl.
dope, though.
I
bowl-
love that thing.
Yeah.
I love that mini ramp.
Yeah.
The sessions on that were the best. But
Yeah.
If
but
that's
anyway.
all you skate, you end up loving it.
Oh,
Any park,
yeah,
no matter how
exactly.
janky it is.
Yeah.
If all you had was a curb, you'd kill the curb. You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah,
saying? So,
yeah.
you'd be like, oh, I fucking love that curb.
Dude, there used to be
So-
railroad ties outside of my house, bro. Did so many stalls
Fucking
on those, bro.
terrible.
It's
So
amazing.
anyways, the Hicks come to the skate park. called-
So one dude comes walking up, and they had already been informed about the story from the night before. I guess the dude had like punched Crawford through the window or something, or Dustin, or like something happened. There was a physical.
No. window?
I forgot about
I'm
that.
Rick
but maybe
James.
Maybe that did happen.
Yeah, like, or I remember.
Or threw something at us
Yeah,
or some shit.
they exchanged words and something physical might have happened or whatever. But I just remember that they were like, "Fuck those guys" or whatever. And so one guy comes walking up, and he starts talking shit, and he was a bit taller than I was, and he's all like, he's just talking shit, and so we all kind of walk up to him, and I start talking shit back to him, and he was saying, you can only use your skateboard. He kept talking about my skateboard and this and that, and I was like, I don't need my fucking skateboard, and I threw it down. And I just started punching it.
Exactly like that. Exactly like
Yeah,
that.
it wasn't like I dropped my skateboard, we talked for a second. I was like, fuck that. And I dropped my skateboard and started swinging on him. And I was handling business just fine. And then Dustin, out of nowhere, just because he's got our backs, fucking cracks dude over the head with his fucking skateboard with the truck.
Hitting him in the back and shit.
Oh, no.
So dude, and it was a good solid shot. So dude kind of buckles.
Shit.
Ends up walking back to his the the Bronco they were in, but his buddy was back there, and I'm like, yeah, bring him on too. We'll fuck him up too.
There's two of them?
Yeah, but
And
the
that's it,
homeboys.
though?
Yeah,
There was at least two of them.
yeah, there was
I
at
wanna
least
say.
two of them that we could tell.
Yeah, but I mean, two of them. I mean, what the fuck were they thinking?
But there wasn't and it wasn't like the skate park was packed with a bunch of us. It was like only a few of us. And then, but if you go to the skate park, if you're gonna try to start a fight with a skateboarder, you got to understand that any other people around him with a skateboard, whether they're that guy's friend or not, is gonna probably back him up. So
Yeah, we're at the skate park for 6 hours a day. We want some excitement.
Yeah.
That or your homies with them for skating forever and shit.
yeah, and so that altercation happened, and those guys just ended up taking off and didn't really, nothing else came of that. But
Yeah.
that was probably that summer where I got into a lot of fights. There was I had probably I would think 10 fights, and I got in a fight with this kid who said after we got in a fight, I had just turned 18 and he was 17 and a half, and he had started it, but he was going to press charges against me. So I ended up saying fuck that, and he dropped him later on, and I was like, I like fighting, but I don't want to get in trouble for it. And so I just found Yakima MMA, but I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, why do I like doing this kind of stuff? And I think it's because I just like doing stuff with that you can go kind of balls to the wall with and not have much consequence with it. And skateboarding, you can kind of do that, and I've always been able to do that, but there is a little bit of a consequence if you break your arm or break your leg or something.
Well, I think you say that, but there's huge consequences of fighting and skating, right? For most people, if you think of it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, can you grab me a tea cake, please?
And I totally agree with that, but and that's one reason why I stopped skateboarding as much, because it's just brutal.
Yeah, you can really tell.
But okay, but
Oh,
yeah, fuck you. By the way, you fucking show up to the skate park and you're doing perfect nollie heels into the bank, and then you 360 flipped over that. Dude, I couldn't even 180 over it, and you 360 flipped over it.
Yeah, we want to talk to you about that, man.
Yeah,
that was too.
Dude, that was insane. And then you just pull a fucking frontside feeble out of your asshole. And it took me.
Backside.
No, front side.
It was
Well, I
front
did a
side.
front
Up rail.
people on the up
And
part
then
of
the-
it.
And then the backside feeble down
What
it.
the fuck? Yeah.
Hammers, bro.
Dude,
Well-
I skate. Never mind. Keep going.
Well,
Dropping hammers.
You know what? The thing about it is
I'm the shit.
I've probably done a nollie heel flip in my entire life, probably over a couple thousand times at least.
I totally thought you were gonna say I've done 10.
I've done
like 10 nollie.
I actually never really skateboarded, really. I was just a drug dealer at the skate park. And then I hopped on my skateboard and I was like, this is gonna be good.
That's the craziest thing though. It's I grew up with this kid Paul Barkley. Shout out to Paul Barkley.
Paul.
He only skateboarded for a few months maybe, but the first day of skateboarding, he could kickflip and heel flip.
Oh my god! See, that's
It took me a year to
Oh
learn
no,
kickflips
I
and
feel
heel
you.
flips.
It took
2
me
years.
months.
It took me 2 years.
It took me it took me a couple of months of just nonstop, for hours on end, trying to do ollies and shove-its, and flipping the board was that was unheard of. When I first started, I was like, "There's no way I can flip this board." But
Skateboarding was never I want to pursue this. It was just something you did for fun and
well,
shits
all right,
and giggles.
you know what? That's always been for sure.
Because you work good. I mean, there was definitely. I think if you wanted to go that route, that was not.
Oh yeah, for
far
sure.
off at all.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that where we were from, we had a lot of time where we just like to have fun with our friends and bullshit, and we all like to push it and push each other and get better. But we weren't necessarily surrounded by people that were all trying to go professional.
No,
we
for
all
sure.
were just having a good time. And
I think when you start, most kids were just trying to have fun.
yeah, oh,
And
for
you
sure.
want to be that good.
Yeah,
that's all you're
yeah.
really thinking about.
Yeah,
I want to be
exactly.
really good.
But yeah,
And
that's
then-
the number one thing you think about. You think about becoming a professional, but you don't necessarily. I don't know what it is. It's just you just want to see yourself do those types of tricks, but you're not really like infatuated with being rich or famous because of
No.
it. You just want to be good because that's what you see on TV.
It seems to me like the pro skateboarders that like when they were like younger, it wasn't like I'm trying to be pro. They were just already good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like pro skateboarders, the pros, they have something that clearly no one else has. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of good. They're better than everybody.
They're
right
better
out the
than
gate.
everybody. All you know what I mean? Like
They're really good at that skateboarding stuff.
I mean, they're
Yeah,
just
they're
like
pretty good at
but
it.
they're just like always hands in a butt. Like it's like how Dave Chappelle has always been Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
If you talk to anybody who knew him when he was doing stand up when he was fucking 14 years old,
Yeah.
you know, he was always this good.
And he's
it
like
feels like
and by the way, he's like my favorite comedian.
Oh, he's
No,
the best.
You turned me on to Dave Chappelle.
It's like the
love
best
Dave
comedian in the
Chappelle.
Turn me
world.
on Dave.
Who?
You'd always do.
Dave,
Yeah, what was that thing? What was that thing? It's doo-doo, baby.
oh yeah, it's doo-doo, baby.
It's doo-doo.
That's not chocolate. That's
That's-
doo doo,
yeah,
baby.
That's doo-doo,
That
baby.
is that's one of my favorite jokes. That special live at the Fillmore, I remember that was when I wanted to do stand up.
Yeah.
That moment because I was in Ellensburg. My friend Mallory had this little tiny Ford Festiva, not a
Yeah.
Fiesta,
Yeah.
a Festiva.
Not as
But she was like part of this huge family. So like her parents had like she was the oldest, and her parents had this van.
Is Ford Hispanic or something? Because Festiva and then
They're probably just trying to.
They're trying to
expand
market
their-
to the
oh,
yeah.
there you go. My bad.
Ford's pretty American.
Yeah, I know. I have a Ford. I was just Fiesta and Festiva.
I have a Ford also. I drove a Ford Focus.
I have a Pontiac.
They're cheap.
Pontiac is actually a subsidiary of Ford.
I know GMC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, to finish what I was saying. What was I saying?
comedian stuff.
Oh,
About Dave Chappelle.
Chappelle.
Yes.
I discovered that I wanted to do stand up in the back of a Ford Festiva that was parked next to a fishing pond that wasn't being used in January. And my friend had like a DVD, but this was in like 2005, so she had a DVD player in her car. And it was like the coolest
Oh, yeah,
fucking
that's
situation
baller
ever.
back then,
Back
man.
then, dude.
Shit, fuck
it was
yeah.
like one of those ones that you plugged into the cigarette lighter, and it was like a big.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I could jerk
Box.
off in my car too.
Yeah, dude.
But nowadays, I mean, you have your phone.
Yeah,
you can
phone,
jerk off
right,
anywhere.
right, yeah.
Like, But back then,
Absolutely.
shit.
Yeah.
But you were fighting
Yeah, sorry to get
for
us
the
off
majority.
track.
No, it's okay. I love tangents, any and all. So you kept fighting. Did you like fighting? Did you kind of notice that you were pretty good at it?
Oh, that summer that I was
Yeah.
fighting a lot. Oh yeah. You know, I just got to the point where I just kind of said fuck it. Well, I kind of said that for about a lot of things, but I like legitimately just like it wasn't even like something that you say. It's something that you got to do mentally. You got to have a switch in your head that just like, you know what, fuck, like you're just not worried about the consequences.
But did you kind of
What's the worst
notice
that can happen?
that
Yeah.
you were above average at it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I'm a little less afraid.
Yeah, I just knew that I was scrappy, and I knew that I wasn't gonna go down without a fight, and I kind of got the gist that a lot of people who wanted to fight didn't really, or that I say they want to fight and would talk shit, didn't really want that, and so I figured if I just called their bluff, sometimes I wouldn't fight, but if I had to, it'd probably be short and I'd win anyways. So like it got to that point where I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go 100% at it. I'm not gonna be like half-assed about it. I'm gonna go balls to the wall, you know. That's how I was kind of like that summer. And I remember one time it almost got me in trouble because my ex-girlfriend used to go to school at
There you go.
she went to
I keep thinking you want to get up.
YV Tech. It's right next to YVC or whatever, but she was going to YV Tech, and it was like while she was going to high school, she was doing like both, like where you can go. It's like a starting program or whatever.
A
Running start. Yeah.
It was like a running start kind
Jinx, you owe me a Tecate.
of. There's a billion over
Oh
here.
shit,
There's
one
a
over
billion,
there.
bro.
Oh my God.
And so she told me some guys that put beer bottles in the back of her truck, and she had just got a DUI, and so we were gonna go there, and I was gonna like tell these guys to back off or whatever, and it was like right in the prime of that summer where I was fighting everybody, so I was like
How old again?
I was like 17.
Okay.
And actually, this is when I got in a fight with that dude who pressed charges on me.
Okay.
So me and Gordon were sitting in a car waiting for them to get
Gordon.
Yeah.
But
So,
anyways, keep
so
going.
we're sitting in the car waiting for Morgan to get out of school because she's gonna show me who these kids were, and I was gonna tell them, hey. And honestly, I went there not thinking I was gonna try to fight. I was just gonna go there and tell these motherfuckers, just to leave her
Calm
alone.
down. Yeah.
And but obviously in the back of my head, if it came to fighting, I'd be like, whatever, let's do it. But so we were sitting there, and I can't remember exactly how it all started, but these guys had like an intercom in their car. These like two hick dudes, they had like an intercom on their car, and
Like a
fucking
radio.
CB.
yeah, like a
CB.
CB,
Yeah, like
yeah.
Breaker
So-
Breaker 19. This is Bunny Rabbit.
yeah, and I don't know if they figured out who we were, or
Not like that, but like
Yeah, that's what the
yeah,
truckers
yeah.
do. Breaker 19. This is Bunny Rabbit.
Oh, fuck, dude. All right.
And so we were just sitting there. I don't know if they figured out who we were or something, but they drive behind us and they just called us faggots. They on their intercom they're like faggots, and we're like, what the fuck? And Gordon's like, fuck these guys. And Gordon was always down to fight, but he wasn't above average with fighting. He was just like he was just normal.
Yeah.
And so he
He just
lost
liked doing it.
fights.
He was a scrapper.
He was a scrapper though, but he was always down to fight. So you always knew he had your back. At the very least, if you're going down, he's going down with you. And so he's all like, fuck these guys, man. What's going on? So I hop out the car and I run, and they were pulling out, and I just ran and punched the dude in the passenger seat. Just punched him in the face. And I look in there, and he had a bat. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, you're going to get out and use that bat? I was like, I'll take that from you and fuck you up with it. And I could tell the guy was a large guy, but he was sitting in a car, so you can't really tell how big he was.
Yeah.
They end up taking off, and then we end up just leaving that day. The next day, or that night, Morgan told me that kid that I punched wanted to fight me. So I was like, all right, we'll tell him after school. I'll meet him in that same parking lot, and we'll fight. And so we get there, and I didn't realize this, but this kid's like fucking like 6'4" and like at least 300 pounds. Like he's a big motherfucker wearing overalls, like a farm boy type. But I guess he had never been in a fight before, but I didn't know that. And we start walking up, and Morgan and them were like, oh, that's that kid right there. And I was like, that motherfucker? I was like, it was that guy? And I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like, you know what? And I was with Kevin Angel was there too, but I was like, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I was like, I'm just going to go up to him and act like in my head, I don't think I said anything, but in my head, I was thinking, you know what? I'm just going to act like I'm real fucking crazy, and he might just not call my bluff.
Yeah.
And I was like, if it comes down to it, I'm going to go down swinging, but I was just telling myself, I was like, I'm just going to get real crazy on him. So I run up and I'm like, oh, what's up, dude? You want to fucking fight? Let's go. And just trying to get crazy and like out of pocket. And he just like, no joke, he was just like the biggest softy. Like he just goes like, oh no, man, it wasn't me and this and that. And I was like, oh, well, I heard the person that I punched wants to fight me, so that's why I'm here. And I was like, were you in that car yesterday? He's like, well, yeah. And I was like, well, did I punch you? And he's all like, well, yeah. And I was like,
well, yeah.
And I was like, well,
Well, yeah.
I was like, Morgan told me it was that you wanted to fight me, so that's why I'm here. And he's like, no, I didn't say that. And so we ended up just kind of like just sitting there talking and not really talking shit back and forth. But this other kid just kept going off on the mouth and talking shit to Dusty Adams, and ended up one thing led to another. And I just we were kind of in the mood to fight, so I was all like, well, fuck that kid. If you want to fight, let's fight. I was like, you say one more thing to Dustin, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then they kept talking shit, so me and him started fighting, and the dude didn't even throw a punch. He kept trying to take me down, but he couldn't take me down, so I was just fucking hitting him. And then I was like,
The 6'4" guy?
no, this other
Oh.
kid, no, that 6'4" guy probably, if he had any fighting experience, he probably would have fucking picked me up and threw me over a
Yeah.
goddamn fence or something. Would have stomped me out quick. But this other kid tried taking me down. I just kind of was beating on him for a little bit, but he wasn't even trying to do anything. He was just hugging my leg. And so like after like 30 seconds of me punching him in the back of the head, I was like, I just stopped and I just like walked away. And everybody's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm not gonna fight somebody who doesn't want to fight. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I was never like cold-hearted about it, you know. I was down to fight, but I was never like wanting to beat up people for no reason. It was always only people that, you know, were asking for it. I
deserved
wouldn't
it.
say necessarily deserved it, but we're asking for it, you know. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who deserve to get their ass beat, but they don't give you a reason to do
Where
it.
it's a challenge. in a
Right.
sense, right?
Yeah.
Right. Can I ask you something
Yeah.
about being a professional fighter?
Yeah.
And this is just something that I've heard on the streets, because I keep my ear to the streets.
You got to see him on the streets. He's very live.
You gotta. I'm so live on the streets. So, if you're a professional fighter, like you are, do you technically, if you beat someone up, is that is your body considered like a lethal weapon?
You know, people like always ask me that question, and it's just like anything else. If someone comes up to me and starts an issue with me and hits me first, but the only real thing that kind of separates us is we have to, you know, if we get into an altercation that gets started, we have to have, like they always say, if you get in a fight, just tell people around you and tell him that you do not want to fight. Say, I don't want to fight you, man.
Put your hands up and shit.
I don't want to fight. And if they keep pursuing it and you whoop their ass, and it was self-defense, then you're gonna. It's just like anybody else, you know. If like you were in the street and some guy came up to you and punched you in the face, and then you go and whoop his ass. I mean, if you beat him half to death, then that's one thing. But if you just whoop his ass, cops come. You know, you could press charges on him, even if you beat him up more than he beat you up because he started the fight. So same with fighters. You know, if there's witnesses around, obviously if we're in a back alley and I just fucking smoke some dude, and then we come out and I have no marks on me, and and that guy's just like limping out, it's gonna be a little fishy. But obviously, I'm not looking for that, you know. And I get that shit. I get that. I feel like all men should have some sort of outlet of like physical contact with it, not necessarily with another man, because that sounds gay. But and I'm not gay, but I'm Juicy J. But if that's what floats your boat, I feel.
Sorry,
Juicy J. We're high-fiving on it. Kill it.
So I just just becoming a fighter and training a lot, I feel as if.
I had the same thought, but it is.
No, as I was saying it, I could tell in my head that it was turning into something gay. Like I already just kind of see those innuendos, and I just kind of make those my own assumptions when other people are talking. I'm thinking. So you're
processing.
Yeah, I was already thinking it, but anyways, like I think more of like you gotta have the outlet, whatever it is, But I think something physical is always good as well, because some people have like they like to do art. Some people like to fight like me. Some people skateboard and stuff. But I think honestly, like fighting it's almost like asking a NASCAR racer if he wants to go race on the weekends. It's like, I do that all my job, so I don't want to go do that right now. Like for me, I train all the time, and I get to fight. I basically get to practice fight every day. So if I go to the bar, I'm not looking for fights. I'm looking to have a good time at the bar. I'm looking for to go dance with my girl or have a good time, drink, and enjoy the situation versus. And a lot of guys don't get the outlet, so when they go to the bar, they get drunk and they're like, "Oh, let's fucking do this." They're looking for a fight, and you see that way too often. And I think if those guys, I think if everybody had an outlet like that, there'd be less fights like that. But fuck it, everybody likes fights, so that's cool.
There's primal energy, man.
Exactly.
And that doesn't go away. Even if as you get older, you have less outlets to be physical.
Yeah.
Because your body starts breaking down and time. But you still need outlets to let out that energy. And it'll build up.
That's why you see a lot of old people that play poker, just sit at slot machines all the time because they need to feel they do a lot of stuff that's low impact.
Something.
Yeah, bowling, golfing, all that stuff.
Yeah. So have you gotten any street fights since starting training as a fighter, or did that melt out like you said?
Well, before I turned professional, I'll go for it.
Well, it's a double question. So so it kind of. Do you think that people? Because I'm sitting across from you right now, and if I was just to see you at a bar, I wouldn't think you were a fighter,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So do you think that like people?
Then you're not paying attention to his ears.
No, so and that was that goes with another question.
His ears
because
aren't bad at all.
No, but they do.
They're not. And I was going to ask you about that. My question was going to be like, how are your ears so normal looking compared to every other?
You get them drained, okay?
Well, and if they blow up, you can get them drained and stuff. And there's things you can do about your ears. And some people that have the real gnarly ears are the guys that kind of just didn't give a fuck and just let them just get gnarly. And like my buddy George, if you see his ears, he lives with me. His ears are fucking like chewed up pieces of bubblegum, and they're like just all ravaged.
Does it fuck up your hearing?
No, I mean not for me at least. I mean obviously I can't really speak for those guys, but George seems to hear everything just fine. I mean he doesn't listen very good, but I know he hears shit, but he don't listen very good. But I always thought that too, and I think it probably affects it a little bit because obviously your ears are built this way to like connect or catch waves or like
catch waves.
It's like a surfer.
Audio waves.
Audio waves. That's what I meant. I couldn't hear the word.
Your ears are supposed to hang 10, bro.
Well, pash.
No, I asked. My mom's like a speech pathologist, audiologist. So it's interesting. Like she talks about fighters and stuff.
Cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky that my ears haven't really blown up too bad. They both cauliflowered a little bit on the inside, and ever since they haven't done it. They get sore.
What causes it?
Just
is it the cartilage getting broken?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's exact. I'm not
no
doctor or anything, but that's what I've heard is the cartilage breaking in your ear, and it just kind of expands. And I've had fluid pulled out of my ears, and it looks like blood. I mean, it's a little bit of blood and mixture with like other stuff too. It's not just completely just blood, but your ears can get fucking like. I mean, I've seen people in fights get their ears busted while they were dealing with cauliflower. My buddy Chaz, He was living with me for a while, trained with me for a few years, but his ear was like, I would say the size of like half of a golf ball, and he got blown up in a fight, and it was just blood everywhere. He had to get a button sewn into his ear so it would stop. Yeah, it was crazy. They sewed like a button this big on his ear flat.
Size of like a quarter.
Yeah.
So, sorry, your buddy, he's got pretty bad cauliflower ear, right?
Yeah.
Does it hurt to like sleep
No.
or anything like that?
It only hurts if it's like flared up. So like if someone's like if it just started swelling up, it hurts like a motherfucker. And if your ear's just sore, it hurts pretty bad too. But once it's solid, man, it don't hurt at all. I mean, it's just, and it's honestly, it just feels like rocks.
The cartilage calcifies in there.
Yeah,
and like,
it's just like anything else, like a callus, like on your hand.
Okay.
It's like your ears getting calloused.
Now, cauliflower ear is more prominent in striking than grappling, right? Because I've seen grapplers with cauliflower ear, but it's more from getting like caught, right?
No, actually, because
I thought it was flipped.
It's wrestling.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
actually
it's wrestling.
it's more from wrestling, and it's from just your head getting and you could say maybe from striking as well, because it's all about your ears just getting hit and pushed on and
Impact and
stuff.
stuff like
You know,
that.
there's so many people that like shoot a double leg, you hit people's hips all the time, so your ear's gonna get swollen up, and it's just from constant like irritation with hitting the mats, getting punched, wrestling, grappling, all that stuff. And you'll see it the most with wrestlers. And I think wrestlers, the reason why you see it with wrestlers more too is because it's like a rite of passage for them. So you see like a lot of wrestlers that have it because it's almost like they want to show you like, hey, yeah, don't fuck with me like everywhere I go. And
It's like teardrop tattoos.
Exactly, yeah. And it's funny because my buddy George is like one of those like total alpha male dudes, and he used to wrestle, and so he's toned it down back a little bit, but before he did that, he had his ears. I mean, his ears got huge, and I think it totally fits his type of personality because he's one of those like kind of alpha males. He used to be like 215 and buff. He's dropped his weight and stuff, but
he looks like a Frankenstein prototype, essentially.
yeah, he actually looks like a dog, like a bulldog. Like if you could
okay.
imagine a guy that looked like a bulldog, that's what he looks like. And he looks like if you see him at a bar, you're like, oh, I won't fuck with that guy. And then you look at someone like me, and you're like, well, that guy, I could probably take him.
Well, no, I mean, honestly,
I'll fuck with that guy, but that guy I don't want to fuck with.
if I was to just look at you,
Yeah.
and it's not like whatever. You just look like a normal hipster.
Oh, yeah.
Not a hipster,
Skinny
but like you
motherfucker.
got
Could look like a hipster.
you
Yeah,
got the
could,
you know
yeah.
you got the hooded jacket with the khakis and the
Well,
matching hat. And
You used to have hit the weights pretty hard, right? Like when you're street fighting, you were working out quite a bit.
Back then I was just so small. Like right when I started getting in fights, that I was like, you know what? Like I just had this small man like mentality back then, and I was like, fuck, I want to get big. I always wanted to get big, and my brother was tall and super skinny, and I was like, I don't want to be like him. I don't want to. Well, not like I just in the physical sense.
it's not that bad, bro.
Right.
Yeah, no. Well, just in the physical
No,
sense.
we kind of look alike. Me and his older brother kind of look
Yeah.
alike.
But Crawford's more
But
filled
you're
out.
not. Yeah, I was gonna say you're not like
Yeah, my
you're
brother-
not like it's not like you're me with a 6'5" frame.
yeah, I've got a little bit more.
You've got
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you
I'm
clearly
still
have
skinny-
lifted a weight in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so like when I got to that point, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go lift, and I started just like after school, I'd go straight home and I'd make a family size mac and cheese and fucking load up some carbs and go work out and be like, I need to gain some fucking weight, like I need to get bigger. And I don't know why I was obsessed with that, but when you're young, you get obsessed about stupid shit. You
Well,
know
no,
what I'm saying?
because he was one of the smaller guys, and Justin would tell the story. I don't remember this, but Justin would say that people would fuck with you.
Oh, yeah,
well,
all
that's
the
how
time.
it's how you fuck with the Groms, the little kids, you're
Yeah,
messing
yeah.
with them and
So
shit.
did you go to West Valley High School?
No, I went to Eisenhower.
Oh, Ike. Okay.
But we all knew each other just because of skateboarding. And,
Yeah.
And I knew a lot of people from West Valley because of skateboarding, and just because of kind of the crowd that I fell into. And so,
Well, Ike isn't that far. I mean, it's not like
No, it's like
any
3
of-
miles.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's-
If you go to Ike, you could also go to West Valley.
Oh, 1,000%.
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I could have gone to West Valley, but Ike was obviously closer to my house. But I think
we,
I
did,
lived
we
on
didn't
Fort-
play Ike. That's
Yeah.
the only downfall to that. We played West Valley.
West Valley.
Is that an impression thing? Is it accurate? That's my question. Is it an accurate impression?
Nah, homie.
It's exaggerated.
Yeah, it's exaggerated. It's a yeah. All right, cool. Moving
Spot
on.
on.
So do you think you've taken harder slams in skating than hits you've taken in fighting?
Great question.
Oh,
love it.
I would say for sure. Only because. I'll get into that
It's
too.
such a good question. We all just cheers.
So, I guess it just depends because when I'm skateboarding, most of the time, it depends because I'm having fun both times.
Right.
And so like, when you're having fun doing something, it doesn't hurt as bad. So like, obviously, like if you like jump into some cold water and you're like not in the mood for it, you're like, fuck this. But if you're like, you know, if you're buzzing a little bit, you're like, oh fuck it, like let's jump in this water. Like it's not as bad, you know. So it's the same situation when you're having fun skateboarding or having fun when you're sparring. And I've been cracked by some heavy dudes with some heavy hands before, and but you know you don't really feel that. You can't feel that pain.
Have you ever been knocked out?
Oh yeah,
Cold?
No, not cold. I've been TKO'd in fights, and but I've never been out cold where they had to wake me up and I was like,
No smelling salts?
Yeah, I've been out for like a half a second and then was back there, like, and I knew what happened, but I was just in a fog.
Well, can you compare your hardest fucking bail to your hardest
Fucking hit.
hit?
Yeah, I could totally.
Fucking hit, huh?
Well, you know what?
Basically, what you're asking.
All right, so
Is
so,
that? Oh, I maybe I.
so
Sorry.
with skateboarding, when you're talking more about pain because you guys know what it feels like to fall on a skateboard.
Yeah, what's
even
like-
if you're having fun, it hurts.
Right.
you throw yourself.
Cement, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you throw yourself down a fucking
Unforgiving.
12 stair and
Exactly.
you hit a crack and you
Yeah.
just
And one
or
time-
getting fucking clocked in the face by.
I mean, I
guy.
think I've fallen a million fucking times, and I would say one of the worst times I was at the Davis 9 stair, and there, you know how there was a 9 stair and there was the other 9 stair on the other side, and it went into that
Oh, the
little,
longer one. Yeah.
First,
All right, so-
first hand
You
rail I
kickflipped
ever.
that one
I ever
first,
did.
right?
Yeah.
I remember that.
So I went and I kickflipped the other one, and then I was like, I was there another day and I was trying to do it again, and my foot slipped off my board, and my back foot did, and my knee slammed and hit the ground, and I couldn't get up and walk, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with my knee? And then I sat down, I started messing with it, and I felt it kind of go back into place, and then I stood up and I was fine. But it was probably one of the worst pains. I don't know if I dislocated something. I don't know for sure.
Well,
I just couldn't stand.
You may have, but dude, nailing
Yeah,
the inside of your
knee,
knee
yeah.
is one of the more painful things you'll ever feel against cement.
That's
Yeah.
how. Well, I mean, I did it snowboarding, but that's how I blew my knee out. Snowboarding. I fucking.
Dude, if you just punch me on the inside of my
Yeah,
knee, it's
it
gonna hurt
hurts, yeah.
so goddamn.
Because there's
bad.
nothing here really. You know?
Yeah.
You don't have nothing really guarding
Yeah.
anything. You have some tendons
Yeah.
and you have your knee.
No,
you
it's
know?
literally just like it's 3 like fucking razor thin. I know because
Yeah.
I snapped my ACL.
Oh, you had to get it. Oh, yeah.
I had it-
Snapped.
I had to get it all replaced when I was like 16 years old. It was
Wow.
the worst.
That's sad.
It was. I laid in bed for 3 months.
Yeah, that's probably some agonizing pain. I've actually been lucky that all I've had pain-wise has been superficial. You know, I've never really broken anything. I think my nose maybe it's crooked, but I don't remember a time where I was like, oh, my nose is broken. I've got cracked in the nose where I was like, oh, fuck, that hurt, but never where I was like, oh, I fucking broke my nose. Because it's never been like way out here, you know. Sometimes when you see someone's nose, it's fucking way out here. You're like, oh, he broke his nose.
What's it like to take a kick to the face?
You know, like, so let me get back to that part. It was like when you're sparring and you're fighting and stuff, you don't feel anything. Like, honestly, like when you're in there, you're just like focused on doing what you're doing, and you don't feel, there's no pain, you know. And so when you get hit, I've been kicked in the head in live sparring before, and I've been cracked in the head super hard and like got a flash, and then it was just back in there, and in my head I was like, oh fuck, like I almost went out right there. But you don't say those things to your partner. Some people will be like, oh, I'm done, you know, I gotta stop. But I always feel like I might be too tough for my own good, and I think a lot of people are, but especially fighters. But like things like that will happen, have happened in the past. I try to get better with it, but there's been times where I've been cracked with something and totally got concussed and been like, just didn't say nothing, like fuck it, let's just keep going. Like, and you know, as you get older, you gotta like, you know, take those into consideration when you're sparring and stuff. You gotta make sure you're not getting. Because if you get concussed so many times, you're going to be a football player.
CTE. Yeah, I was going to ask, do you have that in the back of your head? Like CTE, like I've got to like...
That's new information kind of too, like the last 5 years.
Yeah, like preserve, like...
Oh, for sure. You know,
get in and make whatever money I can and then fucking get out.
Well, you know, about the whole, you know, the whole thing with being a fighter and making a living doing it, it's not an easy living. By any means,
Wait, are you sure you get your face punched in for a living? That's
for pennies.
Sounds
you know?
pretty easy.
I mean,
Super
Conor
easy.
McGregor like seems he's doing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about like the UFC, Bellator, and a couple other organizations that you get paid decent, like better than decent money. And if you're anything else besides that, you ain't getting paid enough money to even make it a career. That's why I do Uber on the side. If I, you know,
Right.
I wish I could be a full-time fighter and be able to make it. But I don't live lavishly. I'm not,
And you got to pay to be trained, right?
Yeah, you got to pay. I mean, there's all sorts of things you got to do. I got to meal prep. I gotta pay my gym dues. I gotta pay for everything else that goes into it. But obviously, the most taxing thing is on my body. So
Right.
I'm taxing my body the most out of anything. Like paying $100 a month to go train somewhere ain't nothing. I mean, most people pay that for a regular gym membership. So, and a lot of people go to these big, MMA gyms or jiu-jitsu gyms anyways, which is regular jobs. They just want to learn self-defense or learn how to grapple like Crawford. Like Crawford's probably never going to be a professional fighter, but maybe one day he'll, do some grappling tournament or something.
I've done grappling.
I wouldn't fight him.
See?
Yeah.
So
We should fight though.
Let's not.
Yeah.
How about we don't?
And so honestly, it doesn't, it doesn't pay really good. So for right now, it's got to be something that you love to do, So I'm not like thinking, I need to go in and get as much money as possible. I just want to fight for as long as I possibly can, as safely as I can as well. Too, I want to be 65 and I want to have grandkids and be able to talk to them. I don't want to be like handicapped, mentally.
Do you think MMA will ever make it to the Olympics?
Oh, I hope so. I mean,
Oh,
they got,
for sure.
They
I
got
think
fucking
so.
What's that one thing that they do? Curling. If they got curling, come on, man.
Well, do
Give
they
me
have
a-
sambo in the Olympics, or is it just wrestling?
Did you say samba?
Sambo.
Oh, samba. I thought
I
you
don't
said
thi-
samba.
I'm
like,
not sure.
like, do
I'm
they
not
do?
sure.
Do they dance? Do they ballroom dance?
No,
at the Olympics?
it's like mixed martial art, right? They wear a gi top
Yeah,
and
they wear a
shorts,
gi
and
top.
it's more wrestle heavy kind of. It's like
It's
Russian,
a
right?
Russian. It's a Russian.
Yeah.
It's a Russian form of MMA basically, and
But
it
you
was
can't
around,
punch?
no, you can.
You can do a lot of things. It's pretty identical to MMA, but there's a couple of different rules. I'm not sure exactly what the different rule sets, but it's basically Russian MMA, and a lot of people over there do it. But I don't know if it's in the Olympics or not. But if they got something as goofy as curling, man, they should put that shit in the Olympics sooner or later. I mean,
Absolutely.
and they probably will. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
yeah.
so many. I've had so much to say, but you got to.
No worries,
There's
here.
too many people.
We're
Well,
rattle
I've been
them off.
rattle them off, dude.
like using my.
Yeah, I wish you would just shut the fuck up, Anthony.
I wish you
Honestly.
guys would put your penises away though.
Yeah, it is
I
weird.
kind of like to let it breathe.
Yeah, I didn't know why you guys are-
Yeah, that's kind of what we do, man.
Oh,
Set up
okay.
podcast. We take our
I
dicks
figured.
out. We bear it
I
all.
gotta-
We haven't even started that.
I got a funny story I want you to
All right,
tell,
oh,
but
yeah.
maybe you don't want to tell.
Oh, I'll
but-
tell it. But
Yeah, go ahead.
If no one's
No,
got
go
something
ahead.
to say.
No,
No, I
go
want to
ahead
hear
with
the
questions.
story.
No, okay. Fuck. So it has to do with you had a party at your house. I wasn't there, unfortunately, so I want you to tell it. It has to do with Goosebumps coming down with a bowl of cereal, not wearing any clothes.
Oh.
People sleeping in if you don't want to tell that story, you
Oh
don't
no,
have
it's not.
to.
No, it's not even like that. It was not even a long story or anything. I just remember we had a party at my house, and I don't remember exactly what I had said. I was just, I wake. Most men wake up with morning wood, right? And I don't give a shit if I'm naked around. And a lot of people, a lot of people know that. Everybody that knows me knows that I don't really care about.
And it's your house, so
and it's
fuck
my
it.
house too. But so we had a party, and it was like all the old school friends. Like it was like I think Shane was there, Aaron, like Alex, Ray, Gauze, David, me. Maybe Gay Dan, maybe.
Gay Dan!
so
I fucking love Gay Dan.
It's so
before that guy.
funny.
Shout
And,
out. Shout
no,
out.
Shout out, Gay Dan.
Dan Gibson for life.
Yeah, Dan Gibson's a bitch. But anyways, so we, I think it was about probably like 7 of like my just kind of close friends, I guess, at that time. I'm not really close with them anymore, but so I woke up and like always had like a raging boner. And I wanted to get some Fruit Loops, and I was like, it'd be fun if I just walked down my fucking steps and go make a bowl of cereal buck naked, where everybody was sleeping, because everybody that stayed the night always slept downstairs on my couch, or they'd put something on the floor and sleep. And so I come down, grab a bowl of Fruit Loops, and sit on the couch, and because I had 2 couches and no one was on one couch, and so I just sat down, and started eating my Fruit Loops, and everybody just like, what the fuck are you doing, man? And I was like, this is my house. That's what I'm doing, and that was just kind of the end of that story. It wasn't like a long story, but
Nah, but it's super. If you just the
It was a man with a
imagery,
boner.
Boner eating cereal on his couch. Other people around is like,
well, so
It's really
that's
funny.
confidence, baby.
That literally sounds like just a trip on the metro.
yeah. No
Fucking
doubt.
dude with his dick out where everyone's sitting around him.
Have you ever been to LA?
I have been one time. Me and my wife went there, I would say about 4 years ago. And we went to Six Flags, and we also, my mom wanted to surprise me and Lainey with like a trip over there, and I did this like kind of corny seminar thing. It was like Cub Swanson was there.
Oh shit. Okay.
Anthony Pettis was there.
Okay, these
and
are like top fighters.
top MMA fighters in the UFC, and there was like a handful of them there, and they were like doing these like seminars. And my mom thought it would be good for me to go and learn from these guys, but it turned out to be more of like a fan seminar kind of thing,
like a Comic-Con kind of thing.
Yeah, like I was the most legitimate guy there by far, like as a fighter. All these other guys were just more of like fan base MMA people that were like, oh, Cub Swanson's gonna be there. I want to go meet him, and maybe he can show me a move. Like it was those kind of people, and then there was me who had like, like 12 professional fights, and I'm just like, the fuck is going on? But it was fun. I had a good time. We went to Six Flags, and we got to kick it in LA for a few days, and then I was there one time. They flew me in just for a day. I don't remember if I messaged you. I might have texted you and said it because it was I was on Ultimate Fighter, and I think I texted you, but I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to kick it or anything. But I think I texted you and told you I was going to be there, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to hang out or not. But I was there for they had like an interview with me and Karen. Or not, is it Karen? The lady who does the like Fox Sports 1 like for the UFC and stuff. Karen
the
Bryant.
African American girl.
Yeah, Karen
Okay.
Bryant. Yeah. And so I went there, and I was on.
You can say black.
We'll just call.
We're trying to wean him off saying fag.
So instead of like if we're talking about like a black guy,
You're telling me not to say it, and you're the one who said it in every fucking.
so if we're gonna say black guy or black girl, we'll just say homeboy or homegirl.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
homegirl. I'm just kidding.
That's
It was like one of those.
appropriate.
It was one of those things. They do it for the Ultimate Fighter. You go there and you talk about that episode that they air. So they aired the episode, and then they did like the live like interview with Karen Bryant on Fox Sports 1. So I was there for just a day for that.
Yeah.
But besides that, that's all I've really been there. And I've seen a small portion of LA.
Right.
It's only like a few blocks. Like I wasn't like all over the place. I think we walked the stars or whatever.
Right.
And
Hollywood Boulevard,
Yeah,
all the
and that was
shit.
basically it. It's pretty hood over there, man. It's
It
like
can
Vegas.
be, for
It's like
sure.
Vegas. I mean, because there's the nice places, but I mean, it's crazy to see like kind of the homeless situation over there, and
Right.
over here too. I mean, you see, every corner you go to, there's a homeless person. There's like kids begging for money that look like us. You're like, hey man, I'm not gonna give you any money.
Maybe you shouldn't have gotten that dog.
Yeah, maybe you should Uber, bro. Like, fuck,
Yeah.
that's what I do. Fuck, I grind
You
it out.
probably got good credit.
Yeah.
They probably have decent
Yeah,
credit.
I mean, there's-
Absolutely, that's
like
a
it's
very
crazy.
good
You'll
point.
see like some like you'll see some people that are like really homeless, and then you see some people that are like yeah, that guy, man, he's just lazy. He's just begging for money, you know.
Jules, I am. Can I call you Jules? I'm.
Yeah, everybody
Can
calls me Jules.
I call you?
Can I'm so interested in like the psychology of a fighter because I'm
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah.
It's very foreign to me. So like, because comedians talk about the psychology of comedians,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of similarities between like there's these common denominators.
Yeah, for sure.
What? Where do you think you got that type of mindset that when other people just kind of want to fight theoretically,
Yeah.
you're the one that's actually like, yeah, let's do it.
Well,
Because you talk about no pain in fighting. Is that because there actually isn't pain and we all don't realize it?
No, yeah, there's totally pain in fighting for sure. It's just when you're training hard, it's like it's something that it's just so common. Like you just deal with like being sore and
It's like skating with bailing.
yeah,
Like you kind of get
exactly.
used to falling.
Yeah, if you fall so many times, but you just want that trick so bad, it's like same
Yeah.
with fighting. If you're grappling, you're so preoccupied with kind of the chess moves that you're making in a grappling situation that you don't care about like being tired. You don't care about kind of having the last bit of gas that you have left to push through that round or whatever it is. You just want to get through it. And some people don't have that type of mentality. They don't have that mental strength, and you'll see it. And that's what kind of separates people that just want to train and guys that want to fight.
But let's think about skateboarding and fighting. I don't want to fight at
Yeah.
all, but I do have the mentality to push through skating.
Yes,
So
it's super simple.
what do you think? You think so?
Yeah, me skateboarding and me fighting it kind of goes hand in hand for me, and almost anything that I like to do, honestly, it's all about just putting the time and effort into something, and people it's funny when I talk to people that don't fight, because I Uber a lot, so I always see I talk to people, oh, you're a
Yeah.
fighter? Oh, that's so cool.
Do you get sick of that?
Yeah,
I hate it.
I'm such
with comedy.
I'm such a I
Not
no,
joking.
Funny guy.
Oh, you're fucking funny, huh?
Where do you perform?
yeah, exactly. And I'm sure, everybody gets it who does like kind of odd things.
Yeah.
Comedians, obviously you guys, that's something that's not normal, not necessarily not normal, but just
Not mainstream.
not
in terms
mainstream
of, career
of what
paths.
you would do. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And same with MMA fighting, and so I get it a lot for sure. But when I get people that ask me like about that, it's different. They don't understand that with fighting, I'm not mad at the other person that I'm fighting. I'm not mad at the people I train with. If, in fact, the guy that I'm fighting, I have so much respect for that guy because I know we're one and the same. You know what I'm saying? Same with you and the other comedians. And obviously, like, with you and other comedians, like, you guys are
it doesn't
all...
work like that with comedy.
Well, no,
There's jealousy, backstabbing.
Backstabbing.
That's why I'm saying I know that, like, but it's same with fighting because we're both, like, you guys are looking to make it a spot ahead of the other guy. I'm trying to do the same thing with the guy I'm fighting, but I have nothing but the utmost respect for him because I know he's doing exactly what I'm doing.
Well, it's exactly like that, except for without the respect part.
No, I disagree. I mean, that's funny, but I disagree. I respect anybody that's been doing it like longer than 6 months.
Because you know how hard it is. And
I do.
And for sure.
I say respect in the sense that it's like, it does take balls to get up there.
Yes.
Even once.
Yeah,
And if
for sure.
you've been doing it a year, then you have the balls to do it for a year. So then it's like, there is a certain amount of like, I don't necessarily think they're funny.
Yeah.
But I don't have to.
No,
I just am
exactly.
still.
Yeah, and even with fighting too, like I always tell people, win, lose, or draw, and I always try to build people up mentally, like especially guys who haven't fought before and they're thinking about fighting. I'm like, win, lose, or draw, just getting in there is more than a lot of people will do anyways.
Right.
So and I feel like having that mentality, like fuck it, like whatever happens. At least I got in there and I just want to perform my best. It doesn't matter if I win, lose, or draw, as long as I do my best. And so I feel like sometimes people will get that mentally in their head and make them more confident and a little bit more eased going into it.
Because it makes you focus more technically on what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You want to execute this as best I can.
Yeah, versus being like, oh, I need to beat this guy up and I need to win. If you focus on those things, it kind of blurs you in exactly what you want to do.
And you can gas yourself out, right?
Exactly.
So is it kind of like, is it kind of like if you were to ask me why I want to land a trick, it'd be difficult. It's just like, I don't know. I want to.
Do
it sounds fun. I'm pretty close to getting it, and it feels good.
It's satisfying.
It feels satisfying to accomplish something, and so maybe in that way, if you don't really want to fight, it might just be that you're not that interested in the technical nature of it. Like some people that might be, you know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure, I get that.
Like, so you are interested in the technical part, like you were with skating. Landing
for
a trick.
sure, yeah. And for me, it's like, I don't want to beat somebody just based on toughness, or like on heart and stuff. I want to be able to beat people off my skill set. And but honestly, the most that I get from people that say they don't want to fight, I'll get people like, oh man, I would never do that. They never even tried it, And when people who haven't tried it, when they think about MMA fighting, all they think of is the actual fighting. They don't see, I've fought 10 times as an amateur and 26 times as a professional. But all that time together has probably amounted to like maybe a couple of hours in a cage. So for those couple of hours that I've had in my entire life in a cage actual fighting, I've probably put 1,000 times that in the gym and doing all that. So it's like fighting is not just what you see in the cage, and a lot of people are like, oh, I would never do that, but they don't know the backstory of it. Even like, and Crawford is a perfect example because he probably had no idea what fighting was or anything about it, and then he started doing the jiu-jitsu stuff and starts seeing it kind of the backside of it, and is probably like, oh man, like there's so much more to this stuff than like people probably think.
Yeah.
There's a big, we do so much training, so much drilling that has nothing to do with being physically tougher than the other guy.
Right.
Me and George will drill, and I'm not overpowering him. I'm just being a good partner to help him learn mentally what it is. So if you'd like to be good at something or anything that takes any kind of mental capacity and physical capacity as well, which is skateboarding, everything, even snowboarding or fighting or any other job that you have, it's, it starts with the mental. So like just getting that part down is interesting to me, but also the physical part too. I also, not only do I want to beat people on skill, but if I go to another guy who's just as skillful as me, now I want to beat him on toughness and heart.
Yeah.
So it all depends on kind of my opponent and what I got going on in my own situation, And, there's just so many different aspects. People see fighting, they're like, oh, I see that on TV. Those guys fucking beat the shit out of each other. I would never do that. But it's like, well, you really don't know. You probably like jiu-jitsu. You probably like doing boxing. if you knew the ins and outs of it,
Yeah.
versus just seeing what you see on TV.
Well,
Especially-
it's a discipline.
Yeah, just like anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is kind of that connotation that it's like you have to be tough, and you do.
And you do
A little bit.
but if you're not tough as a skateboarder, you're not going to make it anywhere.
Yeah.
If you're not tough as a lawyer, you're not going to make it anywhere.
Yeah, it's
you're
a
not tough
crazy
as a,
thing.
You gotta love it. You gotta want to skate. You gotta
Yeah.
want to fight.
But you gotta have that toughness, because no matter what you do, there's always gonna be ups and downs.
Sure.
No matter what, and some are gonna be worse than others, and some are gonna be physical, some are gonna be mental, some are gonna be stressful. That's why you see people that kill themselves that don't do anything physical, that are like, they kill themselves because they're depressed because of their job at at the 9-to-5 office job that they have. But it's like, you got to push through those situations. Being a fighter is not as glamorous as anybody thinks. People are like, oh, well, I see you guys must be living lavish. You were on the UFC. Oh, man, you must make millions of dollars. No, I don't, And I don't make... if I just had a regular 9-to-5 job, I'd make more money than I do as a fighter. And that's no joke. And so, for me, it's you just have to enjoy what you do. And, I could walk across the street and die today. So, fuck it. Why not just do what I love and struggle, then hate what I love and live a little bit better? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's you're in good
absolutely.
company there.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
I remember we went bowling. Usually when I go to town, I see Justin Thompson, who's another skater,
Gotta
and
pee.
we hit up Julian, and we were talking bowling or whatever. And God, what was that Jim Carrey quote? I said, "Oh, you can fail at something. You can fail at doing something you don't want to do. So why not do something you love?"
Exactly.
And I said that, not trying to really cop it as my own or whatever. And Julian, without missing a beat, was like, "Yeah, listen to that Jim Carrey video too." Just like, yeah, I'm not trying to cop that shit, but okay,
I totally
whatever.
thought you were gonna say, "Do not go in here." Woo! That's the Jim Carrey quote. I thought.
Yeah, no, but this was like because he's doing all his inspirational shit.
I thought you were gonna say the one that said where he was like, after he had sex and he was all like, "I've had better."
Oh,
On liar. No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
No. Not that.
So
either.
never-
Hey, do you guys want to go through all the Jim Carrey quotes?
No, that dude's a genius, but he's also insane. I think.
I think
He's going through an existential crisis.
I think that.
Or maybe he's just
I
fucking
think-
around with people. I think maybe
I think
he might
that-
just be
Maybe.
fucking around.
I think that method acting has really
yeah,
taken
maybe,
a
yeah.
toll.
Is it that
I
far
can't
away?
hear anything,
Oh,
bro.
okay.
Yeah.
I can hear it. So
Well, yeah, because you're talking.
Well, no, I can hear it in here. Too.
Oh, okay.
So I just didn't want to be too loud.
Oh, right. No, I think that's perfect.
That's why
right
I was
there.
holding it away.
Yeah.
Fighting is a lot like smoking crack. Fucking amazing. Anyways.
Hey, yo, baby. Hey, yo, baby. What you doing at 2 a.m.? I'm selling crack, nigga. Oh, goddamn.
just can't have one podcast.
I seen that
without-
baby in the club. He popped out of homegirl's booty hole.
I'm working. I got a family to feed. Man, you get. Oh, man. Whatever.
Oh wow,
I
we're,
feel it.
yeah, look
It's
at us.
cool.
We're already at an hour.
Yeah.
So
That's
we could-
just an hour?
yeah. We should.
I'm
probably,
done with that.
We should probably wrap it up in the next half.
Really?
I'm down for whatever. We can.
Dude, I have
We don't
so
have to
much
wrap
more
it up
I want to
for
ask
3
you. Maybe it's.
All right.
And I have
We have a lot of other. We have a lot of stories. We haven't
so
even.
many stories, dude.
We haven't even cracked into like.
4 hours.
Yeah.
So many
It doesn't.
stories.
It doesn't bother me. We
Hey,
can,
what I miss?
Nothing really.
Holding the mic.
Man, I wanna ask so many questions about because I'm recently in. I'm not saying I'm into fighting, but I started
But you're-
kickboxing a couple
yeah.
years ago, and then my coach was like, "You should come and do jujitsu." I started doing jujitsu, and that was like.
And that's where it
okay,
all starts.
fuck.
That's where I
Amazing.
started. I started doing that.
invented by the Jews.
And I was really obsessed at the time about fighting, and that was just because I was younger. But and that's why I got into fighting so quickly after I started training. But honestly, the first few times that I went there, I was just checking it out. I was like, well, what's up with this? And I just fell in love instantly with it because, it's just it's one of those things that kind of a niche thing that you gotta enjoy doing. And not everybody's made for it, but I feel like a lot of people who don't think they would be made for it, like I was saying earlier, is they just never tried it before. But as soon as you
Absolutely.
tried it, you're probably like, and then doing the kickboxing, you're probably like, oh, this is fun. And then he turned you on to jiu-jitsu, and you like, maybe I'll do that, maybe I won't. But after you start doing it, you're like, oh man, this is fucking awesome. This is fun. It's a good time. And it's one of those things that you can get that competitiveness going, but in like a friendly way. It's not like you got to be,
Absolutely.
it's so much respect that goes down with fighting that it's like. It's not like I feel like if I was in like a bowling league and I was bowling against somebody else, I feel like I would have like way less respect for that person and want to beat him. You know what I'm saying? But like in MMA and jiu-jitsu and stuff, it's we all want to get better and do good, but we all want everybody else to do the same.
Right.
I'm not like going, and most of the guys who go in there and want to be like, oh, I'm ripping heads off today, like those are the guys who don't make it. It's always, and that's why you see a lot of the guys who actually fight that look like me. You see a lot of guys that aren't intimidating looking. You see a lot of good fighters that are just normal looking guys, because most of the guys that are intimidating looking make themselves to be intimidating, and they're not the types that are like the real deal fighters. You know what I'm saying? And they're just more.
Why
of a tough
do you think?
guy.
Because they just want to prove something? Maybe
I
they don't
know.
love it.
I think they like. I think they like the look more than they like the actual.
They're posers.
Yeah, posers, just like a poser.
Well, it's for the sake of the image versus for the sake of
just
action.
the craft.
Doing the craft, right.
Yeah. And some people want to be the tough guy, whatever, and that's cool. And they'll go as far as they want, but then they'll just be like, you know what? They're not willing to put the time and effort into it.
And since I've been training jiu-jitsu, I've noticed that a lot of it is mental, because you'll read personalities. And
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this dude is not gonna, because when I just got my blue belt.
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
But when I was a white belt, you could tell people did not want to lose to you.
Oh, for sure.
So
Yeah.
they're gonna act like you're nothing, whatever. You're a fucking white belt. You gotta bow to me or some shit.
Yeah.
But you could tell. No, you could tell on certain guys they're gonna gas themselves out really quick because they want to dominate you.
Yeah.
Or other guys who are just gonna like
Flow with
underestimate
you.
you, flow with you,
Yeah.
respect you, try and teach you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Interesting.
So
But during that time, there's not like a fear element of like, oh, I might also get destroyed.
see, with me, with certain guys, there's like, I don't want to lose that guy because I don't respect him.
Yeah.
So if I lose to him, I'm going to feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But ultimately, any guy that I haven't started out not respecting, I end up respecting in the end. Just because you go through the pace of things. And
Yeah.
blah,
Well,
blah,
I
blah.
mean, it's just like anything else. You're in the trench. You're kind of in the trenches,
Right,
like,
exactly.
per se. Like you would say, like, it's blood, sweat, and tears that goes into this stuff. Even if it's just jujitsu, and there's not a lot of blood, but there's a lot of sweat and sometimes
I totally
tears.
get it.
Yeah, and and I feel like when you're like in those situations with people, you become close, like family, or even closer.
No, I know what you mean. I was
Even
one time.
skateboarding.
I was
Yeah.
running one time it was a PT test in college. I was taking the ROTC classes. You just trained with them, and there was this 2-mile run that we had to do to test where we're at, and then
Yeah.
later in the semester we would
Do the
do a
same
new
run?
one. Yeah, and dude, I was like, me and this one guy were sort of. As the mile and a half started to happen, you start to see where you're at pack wise.
Yeah.
And me and this one guy were about the same speed, but we were both competing against each other.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like the last 2 football fields
Yeah.
of a mile, and we're both trying gaining and losing on each other.
Yeah.
Pushing each other to not lose to each other.
Yeah.
But it was nothing but pure the idea of respect, whatever,
Yeah.
like a partnership. And then when we get to the end, who knows?
Yeah.
I won,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah, and whoever
But dude,
won was
we
whatever,
hugged.
but yeah.
And we hugged after that. He starts puking. And he was like, "Come here, bro." There was a lot of love in that moment.
Yeah.
My first jiu-jitsu competition, I projectile vomited after the match. I
Yeah.
just gassed myself.
Yeah.
First 30 seconds, takedown, get the takedown. Push for submissions, lost the submissions. He just sat in full mount and fucking chest on me.
Yeah.
One by points, one by advantage.
Yeah.
But when you're fighting, do you recognize okay, this fighter is he's gonna want to ground and pound me, wants to get the knockout? Do you kind of do?
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's pre-fight. You always and at the level that I'm at, you're always gonna know who you're fighting. So
Right.
so it's not like I'm gonna when I first was an amateur, it was like, all right, who's fighting me? Cool, whatever. I'll see him that day. And I would never do any. I wouldn't know who he was. I would just show up and fight and
Right.
try to just wing it in the fight, almost
Yeah.
freestyling it.
So you learn in the fight.
Yeah, when I was an amateur, but now it's especially where I'm at now, there's footage on every guy that I fight. So I'm going to be able to just figure out, I've watched some of his fights. He's a striker. He's won, this many fights on knockout, this many fights on submissions, this many by decision, so you can kind of gauge who they are, and then you watch footage on them so you can kind of see how they move, and you try to do your fight camp and prepare for that type of fighter. So most of the times when you get in the cage, you already have an idea what that guy's capable of and what his advantages are and his disadvantages and what you want to do to him. So let's say there's some guy, and I'm a more of a striker and I want to stand on my feet most of the time. And so, but if I was supposed to go with somebody who was just a killer on the feet, just like a fucking just some guy that's just gonna
He's got what you have, but better.
Yeah, exactly. But I figure I could probably take him down and grapple him. then I'm going to switch my game plan. Because my game plan is usually to stand and strike with somebody. But, if that happens, then I'm like, it's going to be smarter for me to shoot a takedown, set up a shot, take him down, get on top, and just try to ride him out, get him tired. And maybe if we get back to the feet, he'll be more tired. I'll be able to, kind of get that advantage closer to me for my striking. Or maybe I'll be able to sub him out or ride him out for points. So, or just to win the rounds. And so nowadays it's more of like you're studying. You study who you're fighting, and then you go against them. Just like I'm sure
like football.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like any other any kind of sport, any kind
sport,
of competitive sport like that. Shoot, I bet you even skateboarders do it. I bet you people know.
At like street league.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like
sure.
Like what's Shane gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all relative to what you're doing. And luckily with fighting, you only have to worry about one person. Like football, you got to worry about a whole team.
Yeah.
And I got to worry about one guy. I know what he's gonna do. I know what he's not gonna do. I know what his weaknesses are and what his strengths are. And so I gotta kind of have a game plan before I go in there, and then when I get there, I got to be able to recognize those things, and that's the hardest part, to be able to have a game plan and recognize when to use that game plan.
Yeah.
So
that's the chess
and that's
match.
the hardest part, because when you're, and like Crawford would probably tell you too, his first couple of matches doing jiu-jitsu, even if he did a jiu-jitsu match right now, he'd probably be fucking so nervous. He wouldn't know necessarily what he was thinking before.
Yeah.
Is going to kind of, some things go out the window, So
Totally.
I've been in fights where
You're
I've
on
been
instinct a little more.
Oh yeah, there's been times I've gotten to a fight and I had a plan on doing something, and that shit goes out the fucking window. I'm like, all right, now I'm back to these street fighting days. And then once you settle in, and I've gotten down to my mental, I got to a point where I can get into a fight and step in the cage and be just as calm as I am with you guys right now.
Right.
I can just step in there and I can just kind of put things aside. And I'm nervous, but I tell myself that I'm nervous every time, and I get myself calmed down even with those nerves.
There's an acceptance to it.
Yes, exactly.
But there isn't like an excitement. Like you don't use that excitement in, because when I
Similar with stand up. Right?
when I do stand up, like when I'm doing stand up, like someone calls my name, there's no going back.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I
for
use
sure.
that. I use that as like,
motivation or like a push.
well, there's no going back.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I have to go and do this.
Yes, exactly. And
So
that's
it's the same thing, right?
And there's you have that feeling where you're like, you're in the back warming up, and your fight's getting close, and they call you to stand and start going out with your music and whatever, and you have to do it anyways. So what I've gotten really good at doing is being able to tell myself, I got to do this anyways. So I might as well just be as cool, calm, and collected as I possibly can right now, and just kind of enjoy the moment. But the thing about it is, I try not to get too excited, only because what I'm doing is based on my physical put out.
Yeah.
For you can get up there and be exhausted and still get it done. Maybe not, but like for me, if I go out there and I'm physically exhausted,
exhausted to you is very different than exhausted to me.
Yeah. And so
he has a headache.
Yeah.
I didn't eat bacon today.
And so when I go out there, like I don't like. There's some guys you'll see that like come out and they're like, their song's on, they're all pumped up, and then 2 minutes into the first round, they're already gassed out because they've, it's an adrenaline rush, even just being in front of people. And
Totally.
Sometimes you guys probably get off stage.
You hear your name.
Yeah. You guys get probably home after a set, and you're probably like, oh my god, I'm tired. I'm like dead. Because it takes that adrenaline out of you, and it's the same. And so some people hit that adrenaline dump before they even get in the cage, and so that's a whole skill set in itself, just to be able to go out there and be 100% prepared and ready to fight to your fullest advantage without blowing it beforehand.
It's very similar to stand up.
Yeah, for
in a
sure.
lot of ways.
That part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Actually,
there is no going back when you fucking hear that shit. You're like,
but you could also make the argument that like you're fighting the audience as a comedian.
There's a lot of Joe Rogan's obviously MMA.
oh yeah.
Tons of there are not tons. There's a few fighters that are comedians that fight or are like practice
Or
a little bit. Train. That's the word.
Oh yeah.
And that comparison's made a lot. Like it's a martial art. Jerry Seinfeld said that. He called it like a martial art comedy. Because it is a little bit of a war, and it is that back and forth. The only difference is the physical consequence. Yeah. But the chess match of it and the showmanship of it, the anxiety of it,
sure.
that's
the reading of your opponent.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
Read the audience, right?
Yeah.
And just being able to mentally perform. You know, because it's so easy. Like, and I feel for you guys, like it's like if there are certain jokes you guys have, but you got to present them a certain way. Like, so if you guys had a joke and I said the same joke, or like if someone that wasn't that funny said it, because I think I could probably
We
get away
had
with
the same exact conversation on the car ride.
Yeah,
on the
so
car
if
ride
like
down.
if you said a joke that works great for you but doesn't work good for like Nolan, you know, you got to present it a certain way. Same with fighting. Like I can throw a punch, but if I don't present that punch in the right way, it's not going to work for me. So it's
Yeah.
almost similar to that. You got to mentally prepare yourself and understand when and where you got to do certain things. You know, so and it's a little bit, it's different, but same in the sense. You know?
Yeah.
you got to.
I think that's what's fun about. I like comparing it to skateboarding. I like comparing
Yeah.
anything that you're into to the other thing that you know a lot
Universal
about.
principles, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
universal principles. I mean, yeah.
No, I mean, that's what it is. when you
Yeah, it
boil
is.
down.
It really is.
Exactly.
It definitely is. Yeah, I do that with skateboarding and comedy all the time.
Yeah.
Do you do that with fighting? Like, do you think about that a lot?
I almost do it with everything because I play a lot of poker too, and
Yeah, poker. Oh,
I
And you're a decent poker player.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
would imagine.
I would consider myself being.
this
you
is
know,
my read on you is fearlessness. I want to talk about it.
No, for sure.
I'm a decent I would say I'm a decent amateur poker player. Obviously, I'm not a professional by any means, but you know, I've played so much poker, but I've always been mathematical in my own mind too. But it's also reading. Reading. Poker's a lot of reading, and same with fighting is a lot of reading, and I think that's kind of helped me transition into it. But poker was same with fighting. Was started off as a hobby, and then it was like, then I figured out a way of being able to play smart but you know, be able to make moves. Same with fighting. You gotta fight smart, but make your moves. You know, when you can, and it's similar in that sense. And so, but you see a lot of people that transition from poker or from whatever else they do into poker. Like even like Kevin Hart is a comedian. He plays a lot of poker. You see a lot of fighters that transition.
Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who do that kind of stuff because poker is one of those competitive things that
Jennifer Tilly.
Yep.
Bill Burr.
Hey, Bill Burr probably plays poker. Packer.
Julian doesn't know who that is.
That sounds like
Bill Burr?
You know
I know Bill Burr.
you know Bill Burr?
I watched F is for Family, dog.
Oh,
Yeah,
That shit's
there
hella
you go.
funny,
Hey,
dude.
damn
Yeah.
on these motherfuckers.
Dude, I love that show. I
He
was
just
hoping-
nuxed your beer.
Yeah, I know.
I thought he was gonna like cheers
I was gonna
with
fi-
the
I was
with
gonna
the
finger
microphone.
He's gonna finger it. though.
Julian, you should. Julian,
You would, Juicy J.
you should slow down on those
okay.
blue moons, buddy.
Yeah, I'm getting a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn, Jules.
I mean, you're like too deep, bro.
I don't drink very often, but
No, that's cool.
Do you
No,
not
he's-
drink
this
for
is his third one.
for fighting, like just health and all that?
You know, honestly, I can get away with drinking. I can get away with drinking regularly. I just because I don't have a fight too, like right now. But the transition that I'm in right now is kind of difficult for me because with the UFC, I'm trying to get in there, and there's guys that I train with on a regular basis that are in the UFC that I do really well against. And I don't want to like say that I kill them here or kill them there, but I've been.
You're on their level.
Oh yeah, and I do put it on some of these guys, especially my weight class, because I'm a big 145er, so or big featherweight, and so I do really.
How much do you actually weigh? Like
like right
walking
now?
around?
If I weighed myself right now, I'd be like 168 pounds probably.
so you fight 145. You fight 23 pounds.
You would have to lose like 20 plus pounds to fight right now.
Yeah, and the whole thing about it is like, so if I have a fight scheduled, what I do is I hop on my meal plans and stuff, and I'll end up getting my weight close to about 160, and then I do this thing called water loading. So basically, I'll drink 2 gallons of water the Sunday before my fight, or before weigh-ins. Weigh-ins are usually on a Friday, so the Sunday before I'll drink 2 gallons. Monday I'll drink 1.5 gallons. Tuesday I drink 1 gallon. Thursday I'll drink half gallon, and then it goes down in increments and
Descends.
and then
How many times a day when you're doing that kind of thing?
Oh,
how many
do I
times
piss?
a day do you piss? Yeah.
oh
yeah.
dude, when you do the 2 gallons and the 1 gallon and the half gallon, like those 3 days, you're pissing a lot, and that's the whole trick. That you're supposed to trick your body into pissing out all the weight, so you don't have to sweat it out later. And so what I'll do is I'll do this descending thing from 2 gallons all the way down to not having any water on Friday, the day of the weigh-ins, and I'll cut the rest of it. But what I also do is I do a thing called it's where you have like a really low amount of carbs and like hardly any sodium, because those are the two things that hold the water in. So if you have carbs, for every carb, it's however many molecules of water it holds into your body. So I'll stay under like 50 carbs a day, which is like which sucks because you don't realize how much energy comes from your carbs until you don't have any of them.
Yeah.
And so you go I'll go that whole week. I hardly train very much, but I don't have hardly any carbs, and I don't have much sodium. And then by the day of weigh-ins, each day I'll lose more and more weight by just pissing it out. And so by the time I'm the day of weigh-ins, I'll usually be about 153 pounds.
Yeah.
And then I'll end up losing about 8 pounds of just by sweating it off.
In a day.
In a day, yeah.
You can sweat out 8 pounds in a day.
The most I ever done was almost 14 pounds.
You sweated 14
Now,
fucking pounds.
I felt like it was the worst cut that I ever done, and I didn't know how to cut weight back then. And so it was really bad. And I ended up winning that fight. It was a rematch against this kid, and I ended up winning that fight. But I did not know how to cut weight back then. And
so you're going into the fight super dehydrated.
Oh well, so you get 24 hours. So
Okay.
as soon as I make weight, I start putting it on. So usually I'll make 145, and then the next day when I fight, when I step in the cage, I used to be up to like 165. I'd get up to, but now I get up to about 161.
Wait, so you in one day you put on 15 pounds?
15 to 20 pounds. Oh yeah, easy.
What?
Oh man,
Well,
in the first like 5 hours, I'll probably put on close to 10 pounds.
Because the highest percentage of your body is
It's
water.
water. You're about 70% water.
But
you know?
but where does that is that visually, like, can you see that in any way? 15
Oh
pounds
yeah,
is like a
You-
crazy
you-
amount.
yeah. If you see me step on a scale at 145, you're like, oh man,
Gaunt.
is Julian all right, man?
No, he looks gaunt. And there's footage online you can look up. I've watched your fights, and you can see him looking skull face.
Of all the MMA the talk I've heard, especially on like Joe Rogan podcast, I've never heard that little fact you just said. That a man, any human being, can lose 15 pounds in one calendar day. That's crazy.
And
Whoa, you're not losing 15 pounds.
No, sorry,
in one
gaining.
day.
Sorry, gaining.
Gaining.
Losing
Wait, no,
8.
Losing
Yeah.
But you did lose 8. in a day.
but honestly, but even within a couple of days, I'll lose probably about 15 pounds. Like,
Oh, man, that's crazy, dude.
And
the difference. So if you were to take a picture in 24 hours, would you look different?
Yes, for sure.
No way.
Oh, you'll see it in my face.
You
see it in my face.
You can pull it up on YouTube right now. There's pictures of were you fighting? I just remember seeing a photo of you and just being like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah, there's
Gaunt.
If you look at some of the
Not in a good way. Not gaunt in a good way. Like unhealthy.
No, well, that's the word I use because
Is
you
gaunt
look
naturally
gaunt,
bad?
motherfucker.
If
Yeah.
you look up the definition of gaunt, it's
Yeah.
definitely bad.
Well, you'll see with other fighters
Usually
as
people's
well.
description of me
And-
when I'm healthy is gaunt.
If you ever see if you ever see weigh-ins for like UFCs and stuff, like the actual time when they weigh in, and you see somebody who's been cutting weight, you can tell because their face is sucked up. You know, even Conor McGregor, if you ever see him fight at 145, when he would weigh in, his face, you could just see it in their face. It's big in the face. It's the skeleton. You get the skeleton face, and it can be scary sometimes. And that's making weight is the first battle, and that's actually the main battle because the weight cut is. When you step in the cage and fight, that's the fun part. I mean, that's like going out and making a trick. You know what I'm saying? But just get.
It's like filming something.
Yeah, exactly. But to get to the skate park, you gotta drive. You gotta have enough money to have your board and all that. That's like kind of the making the weight part. And then once you get to the park and make the trick, then that's the fun part. But all the bullshit you gotta do besides that is the making weight and making weight and that's probably one of the worst things to do. And I wish everybody would just fight at what they walk around at, so no one had to cut weight. But then there's always gonna be that motherfucker that wants the edge.
Sandbagging.
Sandbagging.
Right.
So everybody's gonna want to. So it's gonna get back to where it is already. So
It's
I could cut. I'm 6'5". I could make 175, and the people.
and you don't lose fat. You're not losing any
No,
fat
just
on your
water.
body. Just water.
You're gonna be lean anyways. I have hardly
Yeah.
any fat on my body, only because I'm just super long and lanky and lean.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of.
Well, and
lean-
you're always training.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm always training. So
So.
when I water load and stuff and do that, I'm not. It's not like I'm losing. It's funny because I'll tell people about this and they're like, they automatically assume like mass. Yeah, give me a break, nigga.
But that's crazy to go from it's 20 pounds of water. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, that's blowing my mind.
And the perfect analogy, well, not necessarily the perfect analogy, but the best analogy I can always think of is if you think of like a dried out sponge. You lift that thing, it weighs nothing.
Right.
And then as soon as you soak it with water, you're like, oh my God, that was like 20 times heavier.
Yeah.
And that's almost what you do with your body. You try to wring out as much water as you can that day of, and hop on the scale, make that weight, and then as soon as you get off that scale, you start loading your body with water. And so, or just with fluids. And a lot of, you don't want to just do just water, but you want to put the electrolytes that you need in your body. You want to put the nutrients that your body needs because cutting weight takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
And there's been times, I've been lucky. Like when I first started as a pro, I was really gritty and just scrappy. I was one of those scrappy kids that, because there was times I made weight really bad and I was in the cage and my legs felt like jello. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to do this? Because I feel like shit right now, but I was just one of those guys that didn't want to lose. You know, I was
Your
scrappy.
mentality.
Yeah, there's the mentality that pushed me through that fight versus the physical part of it.
Where do you think that mentality came from?
Fuck, I think it's just more of a competitive drive.
Yeah.
Born with it, because I would say you've always had it.
Yeah,
right?
you know, even with skateboarding and just anything, like anything that I like to do, even if it's just something that we're.
Are you from a tough family? Like tough dad, tough anybody?
No, my
Uncles?
dad was an easygoing guy.
And his brother, if you were to meet his brother's a normal guy. Nothing really.
My brother's not a
overbearing
huge
about him at
competitive
all,
guy.
right?
You know,
You didn't have any do you have any early experiences? Are you you're a younger brother or old?
yeah, younger brother. Yeah.
Are you
Right.
Catholic?
No, I'm not religious at all. Hardly.
Yeah.
Hardly. You know.
Well, not actually. I'm not religious at all. I feel like if I say I'm not religious, people are like, what? Like if I
How
just,
dare
don't
you?
believe in God?
no, yeah, I don't believe that motherfucker.
Nah, okay.
I don't believe in fairy tales, sir. But I do believe, and honestly,
In me.
well, I believe that, like, you know, the whole, like, people in AA, they say in higher power, and I totally get that, you know.
Oh, right. Like the universe or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah, but you know, and if people like,
Keep it vague.
Keep
yeah.
it vague. Keep it general. Don't
Yeah.
be specific.
Yeah.
Hashtag keep it
Yeah, and
vague.
I think I think if whatever, you know, if you believe in something, good for you. If that's what works for you, good for you. But the one thing I dislike is when people try to push their beliefs
Right.
onto you, because I don't go around and be like, hey, you should be a fucking fighter. You should be a fighter. You should skateboard. Like
Yeah.
you should play poker. You know, I don't do that because if that's not if that's not your prerogative, don't do that. You know, if that's not what makes you happy, don't do it. You know what doesn't make me happy? You know, I don't want to read the Bible and like do all that stuff because that's just not what I believe in.
You know what's so weird about that? Because I think I was hyper Christian when we knew each other.
Yeah.
But what's weird about that is that you're taught that by older,
Yeah.
smarter adults.
Yeah.
I'm only slightly older than I was, and
Yeah.
I'm already like, all right, don't. I have a more complex and evolved view on all of it.
Than
and I'm
people
not,
that are.
and these are like 50-year-olds.
Yeah.
We're telling me how to think like that, which is
Yeah.
weird because if you just dissolve that little element, the evangelistic element,
Yes.
if you dissolve that one,
It wouldn't
it's
be-
all pretty cool. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, man, do you?
Yeah, exactly.
You
yeah.
take that one little part away.
Yep, that's it, and that's exactly how I
And
feel.
we're
about it.
taught that by older people. It's like,
Yep.
how do you? How,
Some of the
for
most-
centuries.
and you know, and some of the most
Millennia.
some of the most closed-minded people that I've ever dealt with were
Yeah.
were like super religious people. Super religious people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Closed-minded for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like
It's almost by
I feel like
definition.
we got kicked out of so many skate spots because of like the guy from that church. You remember that guy from the church that he would always kick us out from the manual pad at St. Paul's. Remember the St. Paul's?
really session that.
Oh, well, he would come out and he would just be screaming at us and all that, and you know, it's like, come on, man, you're the man of the
You didn't
Lord.
really session that at all.
Are you doing gravity bongs in the bathroom? No. Yes, you are, motherfucker. I saw the weed, saw the gravity bong.
You definitely did one because it smelled like
Yeah,
weed.
dude.
I told you I was.
That's your fee. If your
I
fucking
know.
gets on, you're paying that shit.
you.
Alright,
told
Kev.
you already.
Sit your ass down. Hit that
I
shit.
told you already. I've been going this way.
Man, I wish I could roll with you, dude. Just to
Oh,
learn shit and
hey,
stuff,
how long
but-
you guys here in town for? Do you
Well,
guys
check
bouncing
out
tomorrow?
tomorrow 11. They got stuff to do. I got stuff
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, we gotta
no
get
worries.
back. We're here on business.
It'd be great in the future. We could do it.
Yeah.
Just get some
Well, we're not
shit
that
going.
far away, man. You know, you guys
Yeah, come to LA,
We
dude.
still got the night,
Man.
right? We still got the night. Let's
Yeah.
let's fucking.
Let's fucking fight, dude.
Yeah, let's do this.
fuck it,
You know
bro.
what's super funny is Thompson has always had this like younger brother mentality with me, like
Like you're his younger brother.
no, like I'm the older brother,
brother?
like because he always wants to like be competitive with me about
Right.
every fucking thing,
Right,
and so
no.
like.
He's
like,
a competitive guy.
Yeah, and so and I always end up kind of like outmarking him on everything. Like it's always been kind of like he's always like, you're fucking good at everything, Juicy. What the fuck, man? Like,
Juicy.
and
Did you see Jam Gay 69? Holla.
hit me up on that Snapchat tip. And
Tech 9. Anyways, sorry, bro.
but
You listen to Tech 9, right?
no,
No. What's that? I'm 6'5", motherfucker.
Oh, Andre Nicotine.
Andre Nicotina. Anyways, keep going with your saying,
And
my
so
boy.
no,
We're trying not to say that word.
Andre Nicotina.
Oh, I thought you said.
Keep going, bro.
We're honestly not
there's
even
been a couple of
trying
times
not
when me and
to.
Thompson have been drinking, and he had done some sort of grappling stuff, and he wanted to grapple me, and you know I had to teach him that
Dude.
you're gonna do hang.
Bro, once you
Yeah.
start learning jujitsu, I worked with a guy who plays football.
Yeah.
And me and him were standing up. We got in a clinch and shit. And he was trying to shoot a single leg on me or a double leg. I don't fucking know. But he was trying to shoot on me.
Yeah.
And I just twisted and dropped him because his weight was off.
Yeah.
But it's like once you know, there's stuff you're not even aware of, like a triangle choke.
Yeah.
If you're getting on top of someone to fuck them up, bro, if I hit my legs up, I'm getting a triangle on you if you have no experience.
Oh, and it's easy. Yeah.
It's not even a contest.
And you're gonna go to sleep. So
you're
like,
go to sleep.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you don't know how to defend that, you're done. It's over. Game over. So. And that's actually what I caught him with. I caught him in a triangle, and we were pretty drunk, and and he starts tapping. I didn't let go for a little bit extra longer than I should have, but yeah, he didn't go out or anything. But it was just funny because he's like, we came home from the bar, we were in my mom's room, and he wanted to wrestle me, and I'm like, come on, Todd, you don't want to wrestle. He's like, no, let's do this grapple, bro. And we started grappling. I catch him in a triangle choke, and he's like, oh man, but it's just funny how competitive he can be sometimes about that kind of stuff, but. It's all in good fun.
No, for sure. For sure, 100%.
But I have to beat him every time.
Yeah.
But I have to beat him. You know what's funny is oh god, you know what the funniest thing that he loves to do is it's not really funny to him, but it's funny to me in my head. But
we're talking about Justin still, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and we were trying to get him to come, but family now. So
yeah.
He likes to because I remember one time I was beating him at ping pong. He loves to come to my house and play ping pong.
Oh, dude.
And so I was beating him at ping pong. I beat him 5 games. Then he comes back and beats me one game, and he's all like, and then he likes to tell me why he wasn't doing. Oh, I figured it out now. Like he loves to do that. Oh, I figured it out now.
Right.
Oh yeah, now I'm good.
Got the battle.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm good. Like now he's gonna beat me every time. Like the first 5 games. Oh yeah, he was like he had to figure it out, but now he's got it figured out. And little does he know is there's been times where I just knew I was going to beat him, so I was like, you know what? I'll let him get some points. So it's close.
You don't want to smash every single time.
Yeah, and then I love to get him excited, and then it gets the game more excited too. But then
mind shit, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
But then I want to
control.
I want to get his hopes up here, and then because it just makes it fall even that much. If I beat him by if it's 11-2, then he's like, oh, whatever, you beat me anyways. But if it's 10-10, then I beat him, and then he's been trying to beat me all night. But then I've done it too close sometimes, and then he actually comes back and beats me because he's not a bad ping pong player.
He's a smart dude.
He's a decent
he's
ping pong player.
Guy,
but you're better.
I mean?
Yeah, I would say I'm a better ping pong player.
He has a ping pong table in his basement.
Yeah, and so that's why I would say I've always been I would just say one notch better than him at a lot of things.
Do you remember? So I went over for Christmas one time in
everything
Yakima.
you're better than him at, you had in your basement.
Pool, all that shit.
Gay butt sex. I mean,
fucking rodeo.
It was going down. No, but one time I came back to Yakima. Me and Justin were doing this thing where we were going to do a trifecta of competitions. So we're going to do ping pong, pool, and skating.
Triathlon.
So we're going to skate. Yeah, it's a trifecta. 3 things.
Triathlon.
I'll let your boy.
But then I think we added another thing, didn't we? No, we did 3.
No, we did 3. We did 3. So it's between me and Justin because we've always been neck and neck with within everything.
Did we go play ping pong?
Stuff.
Or no,
yeah.
I mean mini golf.
Maybe we did.
No, we played.
No, we did. But that was the next year.
Yeah,
because your wife came with us. Sorry, your wife came with us. That was fun. But anyway, so Justin and I had this competition going on, and we're gonna hang out with Julian. We're gonna go skate with Julian. And he was like, yeah, let me get in on that because we put money on it. We put $20 each on it. Yeah. And we were playing fucking pool, dude. And Julian got in first. And I think we were playing on a point system where if I beat Justin in a certain way, there was no way he could win the competition. And I don't know if you remember, I was trying to shoot some ball into the corner pocket. And his ball was on the other side of that ball. And I shot the ball and went up on the lip. And carried the lip and hit his ball in and got him out. And me and him made the pact okay, we're gonna take Julian out because Julian's good at pool, good at ping pong. We gotta work together. And then me and you will go at it in the finals. It'll be fair.
Yeah, I remember.
And I took him out, and he was so fucking pissed, dude.
You know what's funny is so these guys they come in.
But it was great. I love Jesse. He's my boy.
Yeah. No, it's so funny.
Yeah, he's an old friend.
No, he's the best. He's the best.
Yeah, these guys come into town, right? And they want to do this little betting thing, and that's all I've ever been.
Oh, with bowling, we did bowling.
Yeah, bowling.
That was it. Yeah.
And me and my buddy David, we always would bet on everything. And so when they told me about it, I was like, oh fuck yeah, put me in on this. I want to do this shit. I love betting. I'm a gambling person. And I'm a degenerate, that is, but so these guys want to gamble on this shit or whatever. I'm like, all right, that's cool. And then all I remember was that I won. I think I won the first one, but it was only for $5 we did or something. We did something small the first time.
Yeah.
And then they want to do another. They wanted to go again for $20. But yeah, they wanted to go for $20 or 50, or was it 20? No.
Or was it 10?
There was an overall gamble that you won if you won the highest point average because you got points for each.
Yeah.
contest.
If you got first, second, or third, you'd get certain points or whatever,
Right.
and then the
I
guy
love
at the
it.
end would have the most points.
I want to
But-
be a part of it right
But
now.
yeah, but what happened was what the first time we played it, we were all. It seemed like we were all mano y mano, like everybody was on their own or whatever. And the second time we played it, I could tell these motherfuckers were together, and I was like, these little bitches, I still beat their asses. But I remember I was.
Still beat their asses, bruh.
But I remember I was like, you guys are working together. Like halfway through, and I was
yeah.
like, I realized that
Fuck
these guys
yeah.
were like working together, and I was like, what are these motherfuckers?
We had to because we would play skate, right? And it was like today, right?
Yeah.
Julian doesn't skate that much. Maybe you would go skate here and then when the weather's good or whatever.
Yeah.
We go
This
to
is
skate.
when he was already starting to fight.
Yeah, no. This is like last year.
Oh,
Yeah, this
oh,
is- yeah,
sorry,
this is
sorry,
like-
sorry.
this is
And
probably
doing
like
this
a
competition.
year and a half
We've
Gotcha.
done this maybe 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Gotcha.
And we would play flat skate or whole park skate for the competition.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And he's fucking doing nollie big hills, hasn't skated in 6
Dude,
months
honestly,
and
that
shit.
blows me away, man. Like how long had it been since you skated before?
Oh, today I
Yeah.
haven't skated since I've been here for sure. So that's already 5.5 months. But even back when I didn't skate probably for like, I would say, I mean,
Fuck you, man.
That in itself is crazy.
But he was really good.
but
Yeah,
He was really good.
Let's,
Yeah,
let's,
it
let's
was
talk
so
about
good.
that shit.
I wanna
because-
talk
I
about
would
that.
say probably in the last like 5 years, I've probably skated as much as I would have back in the day. Like if you add it all together, maybe like a month. So back in
Yeah.
the day when I would skate like every day for like it would be like a month in
Yeah.
the last 5 years or even 6 years maybe.
So you'd say about 5 years off. Because if you skate like
Yeah,
one day,
yeah, that's not-
I don't
yeah,
count
yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know, you've been 5 years off for
Yeah.
the most part.
Yeah,
That's
but
insane.
yeah, well, the thing about it too, though, is I try to think about it like this: like, it's such muscle memory, you know, like it's things that you will never forget. Like, and I think it's just
to an extent, though.
to an extent, but it's the mental thing, you know. Like,
Yeah.
in my mind, if I just say "fuck it," I've done this a million times, I could do it. Like, that's the first biggest goal. I mean, the first biggest hurdle you got to get past.
Yeah.
If you're like, I haven't done that for years, I don't even want to touch that.
Right,
Then you're
the
like,
confidence of
then
it,
you're
the
like, I don't
belief.
want to do that.
There's
But even-
also yeah.
really. Well, I was gonna.
Is that the case?
That's all it is. That's all it takes.
Well, but you were super good. So it's like
You were so good today,
Thank
dude.
you.
well, no, and also in the
That
past.
feeble though. No, okay, dude.
Which one?
The feeble down. Okay, the front feeble sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
that's
the feeble
yeah.
down the rail is like the one where you could fuck up and nut. And we got
Oh,
some
yeah,
good.
yeah.
We got some good
and
bail clips.
dude, legs
Nothing
like
gnarly,
that's
but
gnarly.
But it only took him
Dude,
like
fucking-
5 tries to do it. Like I did the board slide, and then you started trying the feeble grind down the rail, and I was like, maybe I should try to board slide.
dude, and you
Honestly,
progressed that from it.
It
from
would have
stepping
been.
away.
I feel like it would have been easier to board slide down it than it was because of the way the transition
yeah,
was.
the lip's steep.
I
It's
feel
a
like
stiff lip.
the straight on. Like I could have just ollied onto that and just.
Yeah.
fucking
But dude,
ridden
this is I have this written down. I think that I really believe I do think that a lot of people could fight that aren't fighting.
Yeah.
But I do think that for you to be fighting so young and skating pretty good, pretty young.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to compare anything, but you were really good back then.
Dude.
And I do think there's a natural absence of fear on certain elements.
Oh, for sure.
Because I could crooked grind that rail that you feebled.
Yeah.
But I'm like, ugh, I don't really. Now that fear's in there.
Yes, yeah,
you know
I
what I
totally
mean?
get that, especially as you start getting older too. Is like,
But you didn't even have it for a feeble, and you hadn't skated in 6 years for the
Yeah,
most
but
part.
yeah,
So there's a
yeah.
difference in mentality there. You know what I mean?
and you know what? What I've noticed too is like I get scared about different things now. Like I used to never be afraid of being in a plane.
Okay.
Like, and I used to be like, oh, fucking, like if it's turbulence, I was like, oh, this is fucking fun. Like, that's
Yeah.
having a good time. But now that shit goes down, I'm like,
Weird.
Oh, fuck. Like, I don't want to die today. But it's not that. It's just, I think it's I can't control it. Like, if
Right.
it's something that I can control, like, then I have less fear for it. You know, I'm like, I'm on my skateboard, and in my head, I'm thinking, what's the worst that can happen? I've fallen a million times, and I know how to fall, so fuck it. Like, I might fuck my leg up a little bit, but I probably won't break anything. You know, that's probably going to be rare. 'Cause I've actually never even broken anything.
So in a weird way, you're using. No, but in a weird way, you're using good logic because it's
Yeah.
true. I think for me to think I'm going to break something is actually completely illogical because I never have.
Exactly. And
But
then-
I am thinking.
Yep,
I'm
for
gonna
sure.
break
You're
something.
like, oh fuck! What if I
I
fuck myself up?
I blew my knee out.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm.
So you do have to.
I have a
That's what
strained
I'm scared
PCL,
about.
Bro.
I just-
my left knee is no bueno.
Did you say strained?
Yeah, strained
Oh,
because
fuck off!
I
Why
went to
don't you fucking break your whole PCL and talk to me about it? Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, dude.
You're the guy in the bar.
I tore my ACL and my MCL.
I'm the guy,
at the
I'm the guy who
same
abuses their shit.
Yeah.
Tone it
It's
down.
like, bro, I gotta fight.
I know jujitsu,
Yo,
bitch.
no, straight up, Julian.
Everybody
Julian.
shut- no,
Hold on,
everybody
hold on.
sh-
You shut the fuck up.
Maybe I
dude.
will. Maybe I will shut up. Maybe I will. Okay, go ahead.
Nah, I was just gonna say, I pulled guard on this fucking security guard, this big ass security guard that would always talk shit, and he like we were shadow boxing essentially, but like we were sparring, but we were so far
It's
away.
like fucking around.
But yeah, fucking around, and he flicked me in the eye, and I told him, yo, Ray, stop fucking with me. Like I wasn't playing with him.
yeah.
He flicked me in the eye, and I got pissed. I was like, oh really, bro? And I fucking jumped guard on him and pulled him down, and he had his hand on my throat. He's like, I'll choke you out. But I had my leg over his arm.
Yes.
I was gonna triangle choke the
Yeah.
fucking shit out of him.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, dude.
It's all good.
Sorry, dude. I don't
We're
know
in
where this story
Vegas
was
right
going.
now,
Where the
by
fuck?
the way.
Yeah, we're
Everyone
in Vegas.
should know we're in Vegas.
Sorry,
and
bro.
we're kind
I'm
of
lit.
kind of
Sorry,
drunk.
Julian.
Kind
Oh
of
yeah,
Son
we're
of
gonna
a
be
boy.
getting drunker and drunker.
Yeah.
If you're still listening,
I was just trying to promote my jujitsu skills, I guess.
Well,
No,
that's
no,
what
no,
I'm-
no.
that's
But
what
it's
I'm saying.
like I used to take people's shit. Because I was like, fuck, I don't know that I can. I don't know what I would be able to do. 'Cause I had no
Exactly.
concept of it.
Well, and that's where you get like even like back when I was younger before I even started training, that was that line I had. I was like, I used to just take shit from people, and then it got to the point where I was like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm gonna get my ass beat. You know, I've heard about stories of people getting their butt kicked. Like they live to tell, live to fight another day. You know, it's like who gives a shit? So just get past that fear of it, and I think that's a common denominator with a lot of things that I think of. Even I tell my wife like all the time. She'll like tell me, oh my god, like this is going on with work. Even if it's something small, I'm like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like fuck it, babe. Like just go and get it. Like, just go and handle it. And what's the worst that's gonna happen? You're gonna feel a little uncomfortable. Like give me a break.
Yeah.
And so like I always try to calm her down in that sense. And I always try to tell this to other fighters and like especially beginner fighters, like amateur fighters who haven't fought for a while. Or have never fought, or even like guys who have fought but are get nervous, have high anxiety about it. What's the worst that's gonna happen? If the worst thing that you got going on is that you get your butt kicked and you go home, like, give me a break. Like that's you're living a pretty good life. If that's the worst thing that can happen, because there's a lot of people out there that have way worse than you right now. So like, I always try to think of that with a lot of things. Like, I always try to figure out what's the worst thing that can happen, and just be like, all right, if that's the worst thing that can happen, then fuck it, I'm gonna give it 100%.
that's good advice.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
It's also hard to execute because your emotions. If you have emotions,
they want to get in the way of it.
They're in the way, yeah,
And
and those aren't easy to overcome.
Yeah, and obviously you got to have your limitations. Like, if I'm like, oh, what's the worst thing that can happen if I rob a bank? Yeah, go to prison for the rest of my life. So that's what kind of stops me from robbing a bank. But like,
Because I thought about it.
But dude, that's a totally good way. That's a great way to see life. Is to
Yeah.
analyze what's the worst that could happen.
yeah, if it's the worst
Fuck
thing,
it.
If the worst thing that could happen today when we were skateboarding is I broke my ankle, I was at least doing something I enjoyed, and in my mind it was worth it. You know what I'm saying? So
But there's
like,
also an element of not only what's the worst that can happen, what are the odds that the worst
exactly,
can happen?
yeah.
Because you say like break your ankle,
I've never
that
even
is the
broke my
worst,
ankle.
but that's
Yeah.
very
and what's
unlikely.
the best that can happen as well? Get some clips. Kick the front. Bro, hold on. Okay, yeah, let's.
Oh, yeah,
Let's talk
I
about what
forgot
Julie.
about that.
Hold up. No. hold
Kickflip
up.
front board. I
Kickflip
forgot
front
about
board,
that.
Front feeble, and you guys,
I forgot about
transition up to
kickflip.
this
Julian's
rail.
loving it.
He's loving it.
I totally forgot about that.
We on that shit.
I forgot about that
We on
trick.
it.
Oh my
Kick
god,
the
that
front
was
board. He did
I was-
it, and I
but-
was like not really paying attention because sometimes when you're filming a lot, you're just filming, make sure you got the angle. And I saw him skate. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, oh fuck, he landed it. Same with the front blunt shove.
Yeah.
But kick the front board, nollie heel, tray flip line,
That nollie heel trade line was
front feebs, feeble down that big rail,
not a big hill up the ramp.
No, he's gonna
nollie big
Yeah,
heel
I
up
saw
the
that.
ramp, which I
That's
got,
only- that's just a
which
fun-
I
yeah,
got.
that's
But
just
that's
a
a
fun
fun.
trick.
Yeah,
to
it's
me,
one of those
to
fun
me, I was like, all right, he's got that front fucking feeble is sick, and then it's like, oh fuck you with your kickflip front board,
Well, I seen that,
and then you're gonna fucking.
you guys,
and
homie
then
was
you're
killing
gonna-
it. So I was like, I gotta do stuff like that.
But then you're
man.
gonna feeble down the rail on
Yeah.
top of it, which
Yeah.
was like
No.
insane.
So you skated at the Yakima 40th Park, right?
Yes.
This dude was like, what were you, 17, and you did 50-50 to Smith on the big 8 rail?
Yeah,
Like
on
the
big
tall
one.
handrail.
The tall one.
At a demo, the Manic came and did
Yeah.
a demo, and him and
Bryce.
David
The
and
tall-
Bryce were skating better than the Manic guys. David was doing like tray flip, rock to fake on the
Yeah.
8 and shit.
The tall one though.
Yeah.
50-50
no
to
one-
Smith.
No one I
There's
never
probably-
saw
I would say there's
anyone
I'd say there's like 3 or 4 people who've ever like done that rail, but that rail's retarded. But
Well, I just want to say that I threw my earpieces out because I've never seen anybody do that. That rail, it seemed like
it was built. It was built.
It
Really
wasn't
horribly.
built for skateboarding. It was
No.
built by a bunch of construction workers.
The only
who
people
were
that we'd
like,
ever see hit it was Pat the rollerblader
Right.
and his homies, because they can.
Pat the roller.
No, but Pat, no,
Gay
shout out.
Dan.
Pat the
Hold on,
rollerblader.
Yo,
Black
yo,
Steve.
Yo, hold up.
Gay
Black
Dan and
Steve.
Pat the
hold on,
rollerblader.
hold on. But Pat the rollerblader, super cool dude.
Yeah.
And we would session with him.
As opposed to
He was
Gay
sick.
Dan.
As opposed to
Yeah,
Gay Dan.
Gay
Nah, but Pat Dan was like
Dan
a
is
cool
cool
rollerblader.
too.
You
I like-
respected
I
him and
like
shit,
Just a
right?
joke, I don't
You
know.
respected
Oh
Pat.
yeah,
Fuck
Pat.
yeah.
Pat was.
Pat got down.
Yeah,
He would
yeah.
go up the rail, bro.
So
on
yeah,
rollerblades.
Pat the.
Up it.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Pat,
up the
Super
that-
cool dude. He's an
wait.
animator now, I think.
Yeah,
Wait,
Pat,
Shout out Pat Anderson.
He would go up the
big handrail.
impossible
Oh.
Eight-zero.
handrail.
That guy
Yeah.
would do stuff
That
like
was like hip high
Yeah.
at the top of the rail.
hip
Yeah.
hop, hip high.
hip hop anonymous. But
Yep.
we like
it.
you know the funny thing about it too was we never had nobody to compare Pat to because he was the only
He was the
rollerblader.
only one.
But everything he did looked dope as fuck.
It
So I
was
was
sick
like,
because he
"That
was
fucking
mobbing,
sick."
chilling and shit all backwards.
And he was all gangster about it too. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't like but we didn't have no one to compare him to. So we always thought anything that he did was pretty fucking badass. But we didn't know how good it was. I was like, that looks fucking good. So I'm just assuming it's really good. And
No, in my hometown, there were 2 pro rollerbladers.
yeah.
Daily Paris and John Staples, who to this day still are professional inline rollerbladers.
Yeah.
Like, they don't make a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
But they're-
most professionals don't unless you're like the top,
No, but that kid,
cream of
I mean,
the crop.
you know the
Cream of the
Ellensburg
crop.
skate park?
Yeah,
Those dudes were doing like double backflips over the box.
Jesus.
Like, they were fucking
but
insane.
even you telling me that is like. I don't know if a double backflip on rollerblades is that like really good or is that like super good? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
You
just
can
don't
do a
know.
backflip on a snowboard.
pretty
Yeah,
insane.
I just don't know.
It's pretty insane
Yeah,
for
no,
like
it's gotta be-
metal
yeah, it's-
ramps
yeah, it's
in the
pretty-
middle
oh,
of fucking
Skateboarding
nowhere.
will always be sicker though.
But
for sure.
what I like though is that like your nollie heel tray flip, like it was a classic Julian. It looked like Julian.
Yeah.
Like you
Watch
don't
the
lose that
clips,
style.
Bro. We can watch the clips.
And it was bolts. That's the great thing about that line is it was bolts on both. Like you didn't like a couple of the nollie heels were a little like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
still
well,
finding your
yeah,
feet.
yeah.
But you bolts nollie heeled, bolts tray. That was so sick, man. That was so fun to watch. I was like, damn.
I appreciate that, bro. Thank you.
I
so
appreciate
much,
that, dude.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
No, because it's hard, man.
Well,
It's
when I did that tray flip, it's weird, like, because there's a lot of times I did the tray flip, and I was like, I felt like my board was right there, and I tried sticking it, and my board was like,
And you had
angled,
it.
and I was
No,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and I fucking ate shit, and I was like, what the fuck? And then that time it just like was there, and it was just the commitment, like there was other ones that my board wasn't there, and I committed, and I just fucking ate shit, but it was
Yeah.
like I was like, I'm gonna commit to it until it fucking just sticks underneath me, and I get bolts.
And you
know?
fucking got it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I almost was thinking, fuck, man, I just want to move on to something else because I was like, I don't know. If
That's
I can do
how
it.
I felt
See-
the entire time I was trying that board slide, and you were filming.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I need to make him not have to stay and film me anymore.
That's good. Having that mentality, to be like, I need to speed up, makes you commit to it even more.
But by the time you got
Yeah.
the camera, I was like, I was getting on top of it. I was like,
Dude, because
Doing it.
if I was you trying that board slide and I started out as you did, in terms of like just like ollie and kicking the board, I would not have got that trick that day.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well,
It's like,
after
It
I-
was like I'm just
You
like,
came a long
nah.
way.
You
But
came, yeah, that's what I want to say.
after I watched Nolan do the blunt slide, I watched like the roll up, and that's the most important part.
Yo,
you gotta,
for sure, yeah.
You gotta
You're coming
be
up sketchy.
comfortable. Exactly.
Go work out.
Good luck.
No, and that's the fucked up. I mean, that's the design flaw of that skate park is that they've got that corner thing,
Yeah,
and
can't
it's
fit nobody in there.
you can't fit anybody in there.
You
The
can't get
ledges are super high. Like
Yeah.
They didn't.
short.
Give them credit. They didn't plan for 4 scooters and
Like
10
20 bikes.
bicyclists.
Yeah, on that one fucking
no,
thing.
but it was all the dimensions were a lot steeper than they should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah, that
really
ramp was
steep.
a little steep.
Everything was
Yeah.
really steep, but
Had
it's
that
still fun.
had they made the dimensions like had they pressed out like
Yeah,
the corners of all those
Mellowed
skate
it
parks
out.
like another 10 feet,
yeah.
it would have been a completely different fucking place.
Yeah.
But what I learned from watching him do that blunt slide was you got to fucking roll down that ramp and kick twice.
Yeah.
And then you got enough speed to do it. It's all about speed, man.
You can do like 2 like sissy kicks, or you can just push like one time like a man, like I was doing.
Well,
I'm just
Like,
I'm just
you know what I'm saying?
I don't remember. I remember there was
a
a few attempts where I kicked twice, and there was. I think the one I actually ended up doing was one where I just fucking.
Yeah. I totally get it. I was just fucking around, but no, that's how it was for me. Like when I was doing that kickflip from board, I tried it one time, and I was like,
so sick, by the way.
I can't believe you fucking got.
I had to push, and I was like, just because the speed, it's almost speed helps you sometimes. Like speed
Oh, yeah,
helps you
yeah,
push through
No,
stuff.
for sure.
Because sometimes if you go too slow, if I was gonna kick flip and I wasn't confident in
eat
it,
shit
I'm
harder.
gonna fucking come down harder versus like just flying over it and
And
kind
roll
of
out.
gauging it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, it's
Use
so
some
different
momentum.
skating with homies, buddies. It's so different, man. Like even seeing you do that, I was like, oh shit. All right, I gotta like.
Did
do something.
Did,
You push.
yeah, did I tell you the? You don't know the story of me seeing him in LA, right?
No.
I didn't know he lived in LA. I live right by a skate park.
I just
that I
moved
would
down
skate like
last
every
year.
week. and just-
Last year, now.
Right, and just cruise by and skate, get a session in. I
Yeah.
wouldn't really talk to anybody. I tried to have a good skate session, but I was keeping to myself.
Yeah, just do your own thing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hang out with anybody, so I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
whatever, there to skate, have fun. And I see this kid, and I'm like, okay, he's doing nollie inward heels. I'm like, man, he does this a lot
Fakey.
like Nolan. No, it was nollie.
Fakey.
Fakey?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can't do
fakey.
nollie.
Fakey inward heels. I was like, man, he's that dude skates like Nolan from fucking Washington.
Isn't that weird memory of that? Like
Yeah.
style memory?
It was clicking too much. I was just like, okay, whatever. And he kept skating. I was like, man, that guy really skates like Nolan.
I wonder if he looked at you and was
And-
like, I know a tall, goofy motherfucker.
I didn't see him.
That's
like that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't see him. I
He
did not see
me.
him.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, and I looked at, I got closer, sat down. I was like, that's Nolan. I went up behind him when he was skating. I was like, yo, motherfucker, you can't skate here, dog. Like super rough and shit. And he looked around. And he was like, oh, what the fuck? I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, I live here. I was like, what? I live here too.
I'm selling weed.
Yeah, let me get a sack. Yeah. Let me,
Yeah, it was awesome.
Man. Yeah, but it was like, and so we've been skating like once a week maybe.
Yeah. North
That's
Hollywood Skate Park.
once more than I've been doing
Yeah,
a week. But
yeah.
I've been trying to get more skating out, but David's shoulders are so bad that if he throws his arm up, it'll fucking pop out. So
Why? From lifting bad or?
No, dude, he dislocated his shoulder one time, and then they say that once you dislocate your shoulder, it's easier to come out.
Yeah.
And so he did his right one a bunch. He did it one time for the first time, and we helped him get it back in, and then it just consistently. He's probably done his.
This
right,
has been for a while, right?
Oh, for
Because
years.
now that you talk about it, I remember it. When
He's done his
we were
right
younger.
shoulder probably, I would say, over 500 times. Dislocated.
Holy shit.
Like, no joke. You could push out a shoulder. Because they say now, so your ball and socket's like this. His socket's like this, to where like it just kind of hangs out. Like,
Yeah. It's like a strip bolt.
Yeah. And he was supposed to get, yeah, exactly, like a strip bolt. He was supposed to get surgery on both of his shoulders, but never just really got around to it, kind of procrastinated. And so now, like, dude, he'll just be sitting here sometimes. Like, it's so funny, like we'll just be sitting here and like he won't even do anything, and I hear him just go, and I'm like, oh, he's his shoulder, bro, and he's all like, oh fuck, and I'm like, oh, and he's like, quit fucking laughing at me, motherfucker.
Man, okay, so I want to tell a story, but I guess I tell a story before that. One time, so my house used to get egged a lot when I was younger, and I like every time I see you, we tell
Oh
a
my
story,
God.
but whatever. I'm gonna tell for these guys because they don't know it. My house was getting egged all the time, and my parents were like, "Who the fuck is egging our house?" Like someone egged our house so hard that it went through the crack in the door and got on the lamp, and they're like, "How's it in the house?" My parents were tripping, dude.
Oh yeah.
We got egged two nights in a row.
Is a stern dude,
He's
right?
a my dad's a stern,
Military
You don't
man,
fuck
right?
with him, yeah.
Yeah.
Probation officer, whatever, retired.
Oh my God.
And so we got egged 2 nights in a row. The third night, bro, I'm on the couch looking out for these motherfuckers. I see Jimmy Busby's Jeep go by. I see your CRX go by. Is that what you're driving?
No, it was David's Dodge Neon.
Of course.
I want to say it was your red.
Absolutely
Your
it
red.
was.
Alright.
I feel like any like egging, there was a Dodge Neon.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right, so what I remember on my end of the story was David's like, we were driving around and because one of the things that we love to do was just go egg shit, like fuck, we're young. Like
And I did it too. We
like,
all
literally
did it.
like
But let me clear this up for the audience. Not go ape shit. egg.
Yeah,
Nah.
egg shit. Oh yeah.
Nah, go ape shit. homie.
Yeah. No,
Go
ape shit on the egg shit.
1,000,000%.
And I remember David was all like, "Yo, hey, let's go get Crawford's house." And I would never say no to any kind of idea that anybody had at any time at that particular time in my life. So I was like, "Of course, let's go do it." So we were in David's Dodge Neon, but little did I know he had already egged this motherfucker's house already like nights in a row.
2 nights in a row. 2 nights
there
in
was
a row.
already-
I was waiting for them.
Yeah, so this guy's hiding in the bushes. Like, no joke, hiding in the fucking bushes. And David pulls up in his Dodge Neon. We both had 2 eggs in it. I have 1 egg in one hand, 1 egg in the other. I hop out, and I'm getting ready to launch this egg. And it's like, my arm's like cocked back, and it's halfway going. And right about here, I drop the egg because I see Crawford. And Crawford says, "What's up, guys? What's up?" And I'm like,
I'm walking towards him like, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah, but like,
this.
Out
and
the
like
front
he's-
door?
and like, no, out of
Because
the
I was
bushes.
pissed and shit.
Out of the bushes.
Yeah.
Oh, out of the
Yeah.
bushes.
No, for
It
it, was
looked like
out
it
of
was
the
the bushes.
backyard, but it was the bushes because it was dark. And we had a bush right there.
Yeah, it looked like
But the gate was right behind the bush.
it looked like you just came out straight out of
But
the
I waited for them to
bushes.
stop, and I opened the gate and said, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah, but like
I was mad,
Yeah,
but
he was
it-
pissed, and so we hop in the car and we drop the eggs.
But I slapped your
And this
fucking window.
motherfucker slaps David's Dodge Neon window hard as fuck, and then we take off. We're like, "Oh fuck!" And then we're like waiting. and then-
Like kind of like a monkey slap. Like
No,
you just
like
kind
it's
of.
just like because it was like I'm gonna break this window, but I don't want to break my. Nah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like I'm just gonna slap it.
But he slapped it hard, like where
Yeah.
I was
To
like,
show
oh.
you I'm mad.
I was
Yeah,
like,
like you're embarrassing the fuck out of me. My parents know it's my homies who are doing it, and they're like, "These guys aren't your fucking friends."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You're like, you don't get
Yeah.
it, mom.
we
They're
do
all
it,
like,
it's all
God.
good, but-
Yeah.
All right, so little did I know it had happened multiple nights in a row, and that was no joke. Probably the first time I'd ever egged Crawford's house, particularly. And I'd walked outside of my house plenty of times and I've been like, "What the fuck?"
I've egged his house before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
So
I was,
it was like we were all getting it.
It's a
yeah,
game.
everybody, and you know what, who didn't get it the most was David, because David was doing everybody's houses, but no one really wanted to go to the ghetto to his
No,
house.
he lived in the ghetto. He
So-
lived in the ghetto. And
and
you're
you're
like,
like-
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
They're not gonna clean it.
doesn't
They don't give a
fucking matter,
fuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh, my bad, bro.
But that's only part of the story. But the other part of it was, this guy calls us and say, "Hey, you motherfuckers! My dad's pissed off. He's gonna call the cops unless you guys come back and clean it." And we're like, "Oh fuck." And we're like, "Fuck! Oh, should we go back?" And so we're like, "Fine, let's go back." So we go back, and we're on this guy's lawn cleaning his fucking eggs, and we're like looking at him.
Oh,
like,
that was the worst, dude. Oh, that was,
Crawford's out there watching us do this, and I'm like,
That was the
thinking about,
worst.
Am I ever gonna be friends with Crawford again? I don't know what's going on.
I didn't think so, bro. I was like, I didn't think so.
Oh my god.
But
I
I
didn't
think it
think
was
so,
either you
man.
or David. It came up to me. He's like, "Yo, are we okay? Are we cool? We still friends?" And I'm like in front of my parents, so I'm like, "Oh man, if I say yes, then I'm like
Look like a
disrespecting
bitch,
my
yeah,
parents
yeah,
and
but if I
shit
say
because you
no,
just
like-
egged my house." I can't remember what I did. I want to say I said no, but maybe I said what's up or whatever.
I think we just knew what the situation was, and like it
I
was-
am not gonna lie. I was surprised you guys came back. I was like, they don't give a fuck because
Yeah.
because my dad talked to you and said if your parents don't call me or some shit.
no, all I remember was that night particularly was that if we didn't go back, he was gonna call the cops on us for vandalizing or something. And I knew your dad was like some sort of like not cop, but like a CO or whatever. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, dude, Dave, we need to go back because
He means it.
He probably means it. And then later on that night, David tells me, "Oh yeah, we ate his house like the night before that and the night before that too." And I'm like, "What the fuck, dude? Really?
Twice
Like,
in
don't
a
take me
row.
that fucking."
And you know what's fucked up?
So now I look like an asshole. Like I've been doing it the last 3
Yeah,
nights, even
yeah,
though
yeah.
it's literally.
You're part
I
of
didn't
the
even-
crew.
and then when we were doing it, we didn't even land any eggs on his house that night.
'Cause I came out.
Because he came out, and I like dropped it like halfway in the yard. So we cleaned it up off the yard and like the sidewalk a little bit. And
I just have the image of you behind an actual bush, just like that's
Yeah.
like, what's up, guys?
mentally, that's what I think about.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it was just out of the shadows. It was
Yeah.
just out of the
And
shadows.
you thought I was. You told me before you thought I was coming to say, "Oh, what's up, guys? You guys trying to kick it or something?"
Yeah.
Outside my house.
Yeah.
Because when I was looking out the window, it was Jimmy Busby's cars first, then David's Neon. I guess I
Yeah.
thought it was your CRX or whatever, and then Justin, my homeboy.
Yeah.
After that, I was
You're
like,
like,
"What
no."
the fuck?" And so I went to the backyard and just scoped it out. And that all happened, and so my dad had a thing where he said you're gonna clean it up, and I want to talk to your parents. David's mom called, but your mom never called. But my dad never followed up on his
Yeah.
thing, because my dad just
Yeah.
he's just trying to do
Just
play
youthful
the game. He's just trying to
hijinks.
play the game, whatever.
Yeah.
He's trying to be stern on some.
Nah, but he told me. He said these friends aren't your friends, dude. These friends are not your friends.
Yeah, but the funny
They're egging your house.
The funniest.
It's like I'm egging their house too. I egged Spencer Clark's house. He came and called me out. He's like, "You egged my house." I was like,
He thinks you're like
Yeah.
a loser.
The
And
best-
that thinks people are your
No,
friends
for
that
sure.
aren't. You know, like they don't like you.
Yeah.
No, it's so
the best
funny.
memories that you have are from stupid shit like that.
You totally,
Those
man.
are like, because that's what sticks out to me. Things that like other random nights where we just didn't do anything stupid like that don't like ring out in my mind.
Yeah, you don't remember 'em.
You got to
So, like,
be stupid.
Going and egging the homie's house
Yeah.
and his dad like making us come back and clean that shit, and then like David telling
Yeah.
me that he had egged this motherfucker's house multiple nights before. I'm like, dude, why would we go back? What the fuck? We
Yeah.
got away with it already
Yeah.
twice. Why did we do it again?
Yeah.
We're just gonna clean up.
Because he didn't give a fuck.
And I remember you did a beer run and running out of the fucking maybe we don't need
Safeway.
time. Safeway. And because we bought beer
you get in
tonight,
trouble?
and I was like, oh shit. I was like, what if I just took this shit and was like dipped out? And I was like, I remember you doing that.
I
We were
would-
at the Safeway
I
on
would
some of
never
you.
do it now,
And
but-
but back in the day,
Yeah.
he was running out fucking laughing his ass off.
'Cause it's
Running.
funny.
Yeah, like, holy shit, let's fucking go.
You know,
blah, blah, blah.
what's kind of funny is one night. So Kurt, I didn't realize that Kurt worked at Safeway when he was going to
Yeah.
high school. So Kurt, he was a little rollerblader guy and
Buff little dude.
buff little dude, but
Buff
he was the
Kurt.
only other
Yeah.
rollerblader that we really knew of. It was Pat and then Kurt, and Kurt hardly rollerbladed. Like he wasn't around all the time. He was
Right.
every once in a while he'd show up, but he was good at rollerblading.
But he was still sick. He would like throw down.
He
Yeah.
was a little buff fucker.
He wasn't
Yeah.
rollerblader Pat.
No,
No.
he would throw down, but he was just like.
But at Davis, he would like jump over that handrail. You remember that for that? big
And he
double
killed
side?
it too. He was good too. But,
Yeah.
So me and my buddy Gordon had done beer runs at Safeway before, and we walk in to do a beer run, and we walk into Kurt, and Kurt's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And we're like, "Oh, nothing. We're just about to steal some beer, bro." And he's all like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna steal some beer right now, bro." He's all like, "All right, man. I guess I don't know you guys." And I'm like, "Yeah." And so we walk around Safeway for a little bit, and it was in the summertime where they keep the beer by the door because they're like they want to like advertise for like
Yeah,
Sunday night or
Bud
Sunday
Light.
football and shit, and for the summertime. And so we fucking grab a case apiece, and we start booking it out. And anytime you go fast to the sliding doors that open up like that, they go too slow. But if you hit them, they buckle open, like just in case like they don't open, they'll buckle open. So we fucking buckle those doors open, and we take off. And I had my CRX parked on the side with the hatch up, the doors open, and that fucker running. Someone could have just stole my car, but we're on 56, so it's kind of what's valid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
worry
yeah.
about it.
They'd have to have their eye on it already.
Yeah, and it's like
Like
it's an
something-
86 Honda CRX. Like,
Yeah.
like if you're gonna steal something, you better try something better. But,
Yeah. But it is running, so.
Yeah, it is running. Yeah. And so we get back there. We just toss the cases in the back. I shut it. We just take off in our little route that we'd go around, and we'd park at Dustin Adams' house, and we take someone else's car, Gordon's car, for the night. And that way, like if anybody said, "Oh, I seen a little red Honda," then we wouldn't be out all night with it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that multiple times.
I'm gonna call the cast because I think we should have another one with
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. I want to have you. I personally want to have you back.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe 5 more times.
Yeah, let's end it here, and because I want to keep talking about I still have so many more questions about
Yeah.
fights, which we'll probably talk about after the podcast right now.
No, can't we though? Because there's
But
there's stuff about.
Oh, we'll keep talking.
Here's the best part: is we now, the 3 of us, have an excuse to come back.
Yeah.
To fucking Las Vegas.
To Las Vegas.
Yeah, now we're just gonna come hang out and do podcasts with Julian. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Get
it.
some sessions in.
I'm gonna
for
fucking.
sure.
Oh,
It'll
yeah.
get me to go skate
I am
'cause
gonna
love
fucking.
skate.
I'm gonna fucking board slide that rail. So many times,
So many
you guys.
times.
You're gonna kickflip people's shit next time. You're like, oh, all right. It's been a while.
I skated one more time after I saw you guys, and it's been like 3 months. So I'm primed.
no shit.
I'm primed.
Yeah, but I really
I
just, it
fucking,
was just,
like-
I was just skating from like my house to my car.
Right.
It was,
It was down the hill. I thought I cruised it.
Now I
It was-
just use it as
It was.
like
It was
a
more
A to
for
B.
convenience.
It's like a
than anything.
skateboard Uber. is what I
Right.
use it for.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Exactly.
Julian,
Oh, we didn't even talk about
Dude,
Uber.
No, but thank you so much, man. This
yeah.
has been
Oh, of
an
course,
amazing,
man. Anytime.
Can I say this?
I'm always down.
I think the best one we've had so far.
And
Hey.
we've had quite a few.
Matt Ward's pretty good.
7.
Yeah.
7.
Matt Ward was pretty good.
Matt-
You
Matt
weren't
Ward-
there for
Matt
that
Ward-
one.
I wasn't there for that one.
I could tell you some really funny stories.
I mean, but
Next time.
all right,
but
next
next
time.
time.
This
Fuck.
one's coming out.
We literally
after
haven't
Matt
even
Ward,
got into
so
any of the
we
stuff
haven't
that
got
me and
into
David's house. Like, oh my god.
Oh my god, with his mom and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god,
Julian,
so much
the
more
best.
insight.
You're gonna be a
Facebook
regular, man.
All
We're gonna
right,
come
I
out,
appreciate
or
it.
you'll
Every
come
week.
out our way.
Every week, bro.
Well, if you guys, even if you guys could do it over the phone. I don't know how good that is.
Yeah, it's
we
tough.
probably want to see you. In
Yeah,
person.
you can come to LA if you want to, or we'll drive out.
1,000,000%. that'd
Yeah,
be
if you
so
ever do
fun.
any media.
Although
or
I hear that
anything.
fucking trip is horrible in the car, isn't it?
What? It's not that
4
bad.
hours.
Traffic's pretty bad.
It's 4 hours.
Well, if you have, you need.
I slept.
And
for,
if, well, actually, I think
half
it's just
an
on the weekends is bad, probably, right? Because I've heard like people like, oh, that fucking the traffic gets packed going over there.
Oh,
Sure,
shit.
yeah. Traffic can make it really bad.
But I Uber for a living, so I'm in the car all the time. So
Right.
Yeah, me too,
I
man.
like driving. Like,
Yeah.
driving's like it's kind of fun, you know. It's like
Yeah.
it's interesting, you know. It's like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go Uber tonight, but I'm like, once I get going, I'm like, oh, I fucking love it.
It's not
Like, this
that
is
bad.
fun. I'm fucking
Yeah.
mobbing around,
It's
talking
busy.
to random people, and they're
Yeah.
like, and you see get a lot of interest, especially here in Vegas because I don't get any locals. It's always like some tourists. It's always some guys from like random places, you know. So I get to talk to like all sorts of people, like from New York people, some East Side people, and then I get some like Texas people, and then I get some people from the West Side, from like even from Washington,
From everywhere.
stuff,
This is
Canada,
the-
you know, all
yeah.
over the place. So it's so fun to. I think Uber is like probably one of the like more entertaining jobs you can have.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a shitty job.
It's a shitty
It's
job.
a shitty but
It's
entertaining.
the most entertaining shitty job
Yeah,
you can have.
and you don't get, and like here, I would say on average, I probably get paid about anywhere from like $20 to $30 on average an
hour?
Yeah, an hour. But that doesn't consider the like wear and tear on my vehicle. But it's because Vegas is so good, and it's also good with tipping here. You know?
Yeah.
Right, because
And
people are
so,
balling out.
so yeah, you got to work on your you got to get good tips. But there's a lot of people here that have a budget to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
And they're willing to spend the money. They're
Yeah.
like, all right, you know, this is what.
Well, and you probably do you talk them up?
Yeah.
Do you like to talk
If
them
you-
up?
yeah, if you talk
That's
'em
key.
up-
If you talk them up,
If you're social, they're like, oh man, this kid was awesome, man. His
Yeah.
car was nice. It was clean. You know, just keep everything. You know.
I was on the Ultimate Fighter. We didn't even talk about that one time, by
Well,
the way.
you know
we
what's-
didn't even talk about the
no,
Ultimate Fighter.
We did for a
You know
second.
No, but
why-
I mean, it's like-
you know why I don't tell people. I actually don't even tell them what my name is because, all right. So Uber's a bitch because Uber don't let you Uber if you have even a misdemeanor within 7 years here. And so I have a misdemeanor because I got caught with 5 pounds of weed in Oregon. Like,
Which is a great story.
yeah, which is a good story. But
my
That's
God.
a very good one for the next one, for the
Oh
next
my
podcast.
God.
I used to
No.
sell weed
No,
in
we're gonna
Yakima
say
like
it.
all the time. But
Through a
anyway,
skate park.
Say
well,
it.
it was a
Yeah.
felony, but I got it dropped a few years later, and now it's a misdemeanor. And so Uber wouldn't let me drive, and I still have to wait like 5 or 6 more months before I can actually register as my own Uber driver. So basically, right now, what I do,
You're your girlfriend.
because I don't look like a girl, but I'm
your wife.
David.
Your
I'm
wife.
David. I'm David as an Uber driver. I'm
No
the-
way.
Fucking perfect, dude.
Yes, so
That's your buddy?
Yeah, my buddy David, and we have one of our in the pictures that we have for the Uber is a picture of our wedding where it's him and me. So like, so no one.
Nice,
and
dude.
so I go as David, and
That's
all he has
awesome.
to do is he has to have insurance on the vehicle he's Ubering, right?
Yeah.
And so he bought insurance on my vehicle because he was right when I moved here. He got in a wreck with his car, and he needed a car to Uber with as well. So we were sharing my vehicle. And then he got insurance on it, and it was like, you know, $120 something to get it started, but it was like that was it monthly or whatever. It was like $180 a month. But what he did was he canceled it after the first month, but on the Uber app it says I have it for 6 months. So I've been Ubering, but I have my own insurance on it anyways.
Yeah.
Under Julian. So and this must be illegal, probably for sure.
It's definitely 1,000,000% illegal.
And, so I've been Ubering as David for like the last 4 months,
Bro.
When he canceled the insurance, I have insurance on it myself, so it's covered. But
This is awesome.
This is funny as it is, but if you knew David and you knew David and Julian's relationship and how they interact together, it's even.
That's
I
awesome.
pissed on his mom.
Dude, the story is hilarious.
We're trying to end the
Oh my
podcast.
god.
And this guy comes out with a piss on the mom fucking story. Okay, all right,
it happened
okay.
more than
No. Okay,
Oh my-
so this is what we're gonna do. I think this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna tell the piss on the mom story.
I'm gonna go piss before you tell it.
Okay,
But
all right.
do your disclaimer.
Okay, and then that will be the end. This is gonna be the end
No,
of the pod.
no. I want to save it to the next time.
All right, that's
You want to save it the next time?
Yeah.
That's totally
I feel like this is a good ender for this podcast.
Yeah, good call. If they're listening this far, they want to hear it. But I gotta
Absolutely.
pee too. I'm being
right.
selfish.
Oh no,
Well,
it's all good. We're just chilling.
no,
Well,
please.
careful.
No. Okay.
Don't pull anything out. That
Well, you don't have to
really-
go anywhere. Just wait for him to leave. There's only one bad.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you pull that out,
I won't
it'll
pull
stuff
anything.
the whole
I won't pull anything.
Well, I can tell a story right now.
Yeah, that's what- that's what- kinda
we'll
what I'm
get
hoping.
through. All right, yeah. So
You don't have to. Oh, okay.
I really have to pee.
yeah, and it's a decently lengthy. It's not lengthy, but there's a lot of bits and parts to it.
Okay.
So,
Well, no worries.
Let's just
My turn.
let's make it happen.
Do you want me to start now or wait for these guys?
No, let's start right now.
Well, I want to wait for these guys. They gotta see the
Yeah,
story.
we gotta hear the whole thing.
Yeah, I want no one to hear it.
You're gonna
Well,
edit.
we-
You're gonna edit this part out then, right?
No, you guys talk. Get to know each other.
I mean, I've been talking the entire podcast to this guy.
It's all good.
Okay, well, that's fine.
All right,
Whatever.
I'll kind of give you the gist of how me and David's relationship is. Me and my best friend David are obviously best friends, but we're like brothers. Me and him are like brothers. You know, it's just like anything else. Like, I always think you kind of find these people in your life that you know are just as close to you as family, or even closer sometimes. And so, me and David always have had an ongoing relationship, whether we hang out or not. You know, we're best friends. You know, and if I don't see him for like 3 or 4 months, and I see him, the relationship starts exactly where it ended, and it's always constant like that. And so, me and him back in Yakima. So, kind of give you the little background of it was. So, me and my buddy David will joke about things until it happens. And so, for the longest time, me and him were like, we thought it'd be funny if you woke somebody up by pissing in their face, right? And so
Like CKY.
yeah, basically. And so
100%.
and it's not because we ever seen CKY, because I'd seen it like years and years ago, but we didn't get the idea from it. We just always would bullshit about stuff and be like, that'd be fucking funny. And so what happened was we would just joke about it. And I was like, all right, motherfucker, you come to my house, wake me up, piss in my face, see what happens. Like, just kind of joking, like, kind of that joke. Didn't think it was going to be 100% serious. And, this went on for like months and months and months. And he used to work at a hops place, and he would get off about midnight. And then he would come and so what he did one night was he came to my house, and he said it took him like 45 minutes to get into my house because he was trying to find a way to get in. Finally got in my house. He wakes me up by pissing in my face. And so the first time I thought it was like I just had to respect it that he did it, and I was like, that's pretty funny. So I took it for what it was, and I went and hopped in the shower, went back to my bed. And that's kind of a bitch because you're basically becoming wide awake in the middle of the night, and you're getting pissed on. So that's not very cool. And then David's not the healthiest guy because if you drink a lot of water, it becomes out kind of like water. But if you don't drink a lot of water, it comes out real yellow and stinky as fuck. And that's kind of how David is. And so like it was real. And so, anyways, what's the funniest, even funnier than that, though, is he did it the next night again. Because I said, come to my house again, motherfucker. And he did. 2 nights in a row.
My house 2 nights in a row. He pissed in his face 2 nights in a row.
So I said,
a serial fucking dude.
This guy has no he's
a
just
gangster. No chill.
Yeah,
no non-repeating behavior with this guy.
And so he does it the second time he does it. He wakes me up, and it got all up in my ear, and I was a little pissed off the second time. So I said, real funny, motherfucker. And I fucking back fisted him to the dick as hard as I could. And I went and took a shower and shit. And then the next day,
I know it was over. I was cool.
well, I went back to bed and I was like, fucking motherfucker. This guy came in my
I fell asleep
2
with my
nights in a
pitches.
row, and this guy come and do that to me. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna
Snug in
I was
your
like-
house.
So the next day we'd hang out every day, like it'd be like everyday thing, and I always go to his house. And so his mom lived on 17th next to Franklin in a kind of a ghetto house. And so we were at his mom's house chilling, and he's on the phone and I'd been waiting all day for a good time for me to just pull my dick out and piss on him. And so just to get back, right? Because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to catch him.
I've been
when he's
waiting
sleeping.
for a good time to pull my dick out and piss on him.
And so he's on the phone with Sprint or US Cellular, or one of the two. He was on the
Some
phone.
professional shit.
He was on the phone because something was going on with his phone. And so he was on the phone with him, talking to him on his bed, and he's sitting on the edge of his bed, and I was standing on his bed. And I was like, and his mom knew what the situation was going down. And she knew that he had come to my house twice already and pissed on me. And so I was like, so I look at her, and she gives me that funny smile. Because she's a goofy lady, and you wouldn't understand unless you met her. But let's just say that she's one of those people that just is like kind of the homies and just lets shit go down. And so like, she's one of the cool moms, back when you were a kid. And
Yeah.
let you guys drink a little
She
alcohol when
wants
you're
to
like 16
see
years old.
it play out
Yeah.
as much as you want to see
Exactly.
it play
So
out.
she looks at me and she smiles and she gives me one of those, and I'm like, all right, this is the perfect time. So I whip my dick out because I'm comfortable with that, because she's seen my dick probably a million times too. And
She's the first woman to ever see your dick, to be honest.
nah,
His best friend's mom.
yeah, but she's
No
like,
way. Your
Yeah.
mom, you came out of your mom, and she's like, oh, there's a dick right there.
Or
It's really
best friend's
a version of it, just smaller. But
A version.
a
Yeah,
version
yeah,
of
that's a good-
penis,
that's
but
a good
just
way to
smaller.
put it. A version
So
of
I'm
it.
standing there, and I'm like, all right. So I pull my dick out. I'm getting ready to piss, and I start pissing, And I started, before I started pissing, David looked at me and he kind of seen what was going on. That his mom had looked at me, and he looks at me and gives me the nod towards his mom.
Wait, that was his mom?
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Yeah. So it's his mom.
mom. Yeah.
That was that
David's
whole
mom.
tangent that I just.
It's
Oh,
David's
goodness
mom.
gracious! I'm just fucking in my own
so,
world right now.
Yeah. So David's mom is on one side of the bed, and David's on the other side of the bed, and I'm standing on top of the bed, and before I pull my dick out, she looks at me and gives me the head nod, and David gives me the head nod the other way. So I pull my dick out, and he's still on the phone with these guys on US Sailor talking to these guys. And I start pissing, and it gets on his shoulder. He's like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" And then she's laughing hysterically. And then I just think, you know what? I'm not wasting this piss. So I like turn to the side and start pissing on her. And she's all like, "Julian, you little motherfucker!" And that whole situation turned out to turn into a huge food fight that happened inside their house. Yeah, so we had a huge food fight, and David was
Of course, the natural progression from piss to food.
All right, and so it's so funny because David will do this too when we get in these little scuffles with like food and like pissing on each other. He would start sticking his finger down his throat and be like, "I'm gonna puke on you now." He's like, and
"Oh my God!"
He comes at me with it.
The trifecta.
Yeah, he's trying to puke on me, so he's coming at me with his finger, trying to puke on me. I'm like, "Get the fuck away from me!" And then he goes and pisses in a cup, and he's got a cup full of piss, and he's standing, and we're having a standoff. I have.
And I'll say it, Mexican standoff.
I have a huge one of those like it's got to be like 32 ounces of that the red sauce. It has a rooster on it. What's that red sauce?
Sriracha.
Sriracha, yeah. So I have a huge thing of sriracha and I'm holding it. And David's got this cup of piss. And we're having like
wow.
Yeah, we're probably like 10 feet. We're like 10,
situation.
we're like 10 feet away from each other, and we've gotten shit all over this fucking house. But this house is ghetto. You gotta understand. So it's like. But there was like chocolate sauce because he grabbed the chocolate sauce. I was like, "Oh yeah, spray me with that." Like I give a fuck. Chocolate, give me the fucking.
Fucking Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah,
sauce.
yeah, it was a Hershey's chocolate.
I'm on my period right now. Bring it on, motherfucker.
And so I have the sriracha bottle, and he has a cup of piss, and we're like kind of standing off. I was like, "Don't do it, you motherfucker!" And he's like, and then, so we're kind of having this standoff, and his mom is off to the side, and she's all like, "David, do it." Fucking get that piss on that motherfucker because I pissed on her. So she wanted it so bad, and he ended up throwing it on me. Like, and I ducked out of the way, got a little bit on me, but it was just like one of those like kind of surreal feelings that like, did we just have a food fight, piss fight? Like,
I just pissed on your mom right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And that's all condoned by mom.
Oh my.
She was pissed.
All mom condoned.
Okay,
I have
and
so
I
many
gotta.
stories,
So many stories. Sticking the door
Too many.
down.
Too many.
Yeah, that was so
that
funny.
was the best.
We gotta cut it off right now. We gotta
cut
do
it
this.
off.
We're at
We don't have to,
we're
but
at
we're
2.5
just gonna.
hours.
But we can keep going after, obviously.
We
but
don't have to cut it off.
content-wise.
I'm just saying that we should because
We got a
we'll
lot.
have you back on, man.
Yeah, for
sure,
We're gonna have you back on
There's
more.
so much more to
We can
talk
end it
about.
right now, and then we can save some of these. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's
save.
save
Bring
some
them
of
up
these
again
stories.
next time.
Oh yeah,
Let's-
for sure.
We all
All right,
convene.
thanks for tuning
so
in,
many.
Julian,
All right,
Alex,
Anthony,
Nolan,
Anthony Boardslide.
Anthony Boards.
Anthony Boardslide. Watch the video.
It's like
Rail slide, Anthony
Bourdain,
Rail
but board slide.
Anthony Rail Slide.
Anthony Rail Slide. You said Rail
That's right,
Slide.
trying to
rail
rail
slide.
slide
I said
this
rail slide.
rail.
No, I only said rail slide earlier because I didn't think I was I wasn't good enough to say board
Oh,
slide.
you didn't want to act like you knew what you were talking about.
Yeah,
Like you were trying to be a cool skater.
I just didn't want to be an asshole. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it a board slide.
You know what's funny?
It's definitely
I
a
think
board
it's-
slide.
I think it's funny when people like I purposely try to use like non-good terminology for things, just to like be funny.
Right.
So like I love it when people say that kind of shit. Like I'm gonna rail slide this shit.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, rail slide. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck? It's a board slide. Like, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I just love it.
Oh my god.
I had to say that just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I haven't done a board slide in a long
Dude, and that's a gnarly
time.
board slide.
When you're
to
also
do for not
sliding
doing it
a
for long
rail.
time.
It is a rail.
You were also sliding a rail.
A big round rail.
Well, it was the hardest part of that situation was the transition.
Yeah.
My
Very
favorite.
steep.
My favorite because most people most
unforgiving.
most skateboarders understand the terminology we have. Like, oh, I'm gonna feeble grind that, or you
Yeah.
know, I'm gonna tray flip it. You know, we all know what tray flip means, but
Right.
my favorite like misterminology is when people say shove it flip. Like
Instead of burial flip?
Yeah, like a shove it flip. Like,
Yeah.
because like I feel like nobody says shove it flip, but people say, oh, I'm gonna burial flip that. Or,
Yeah.
And even a burial flip, in its sense of doing a burial flip, is kind of like
It's almost
amateurish.
It's
Like,
almost,
yeah.
but
it's
the-
like.
But they're coming. But
But that's the thing.
right
Yeah,
now.
that's it.
Yeah, but I'm saying
it's
like,
almost harder than
coming
it's,
back.
it's almost harder.
They
than
are
a
harder.
360
Yeah,
flip.
they are way harder. but,
Because you
like-
have to like a 360 flip. Like I'm drunk, so I said a 360 flip.
Oh, they.
But a 360 flip,
Get it?
you just kind of flip it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the trick to it. You
Yeah,
just
exactly.
flip it and catch it. But like with a varial flip, you have to like. It's like counting. You have to like do a kick flip and let it do a 180. You have to actually catch it.
Because 360 flip is all about just scooping it. It's there.
Yeah. And then you just catch it and it's
But
over.
so the similarity to fighting is if you guys ever watch UFC stuff, if you ever watch like Mike Goldberg on old things, Mike Goldberg he would do that all the time because Mike Goldberg didn't know that much and Joe Rogan knows a lot, and so like you'll hear Mike Goldberg be like, oh, he leg kicked him in the head. Okay, a leg kick is when you kick somebody in the leg. But like, and he's like, oh, he leg kicked him in the head, and it's like,
Maybe he kicked him in the head.
it's
with
a
the
head
leg.
kick. Yeah,
right.
it's supposed to be called a head kick, but when he said
like-
he leg kicked him in the head, it doesn't make. It's just that terminology you can tell when somebody like does it or doesn't
Yeah.
do it. You know, and that I
It's like 3 p.m. in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I actually like, when I was younger, I thought it was just like kind of goofy, but like now I think it's funnier just to do that kind of stuff. Like
Totally.
say stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's like it's a way of funny. Or when somebody says, "Do you train UFC?" I'm like, UFC is an organization. I train MMA.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny when people are like, you do
Mixed
UFC?
martial
Well,
arts.
they
You do
think
UFC?
they think UFC is a
They think
discipline.
it's MMA. They think it's
They think it's
synonymous
a
with
discipline.
MMA.
They think it's
because
like
it's such a big brand,
like
right.
jujitsu, MMA.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
When I was a little kid, my stepmom goes, "You guys are just gonna do your kick turn flippies,"
Yeah,
and I was,
yeah.
That sounded.
But she knew
Amazing.
kind of a skate term, kick turn. That's
yeah, but we all know we don't say
No,
kick turn
exactly.
ever.
Yeah, ever. Like shove it flip, you know?
Yeah.
So like I love it when I talk to people that like I've heard people try to lie to me about skateboarding. Like they're like, oh yeah, man, I skateboard. And I won't even tell them that I skateboard. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I got some friends that do that, and they'll be like,
Right.
oh yeah, I'm like, well, so like, what's like the biggest stair set you hit? You're like, yeah, I grinded this 12 stair rail, and I'm like. If you understood how hard it is to do any kind of grind on any 12 stair rail,
Dude, I did
It
that
would
once.
be a lot different conversation.
Yeah.
you could tell.
I've been around the Hollywood High School fucking
Hollywood 16.
the most famous
12.
handrail maybe in
Yeah.
the world, and I've
El Toro, debatable. Sorry, dude.
If we're gonna debate,
40th skate park.
well we'll
Only because I did it.
Debatable.
we'll
Fucking
debate
eight stair.
we'll debate on the next episode that we're prolonging this episode for, but I've seen children doing that. You know what I mean?
well, they're like 13 and they're phenoms.
It's
And
insane.
their dads
Yeah.
are like failed pro skaters, so they're just
Yeah,
pushing.
doesn't
to
count.
hit it. Yeah.
If you Tiger Woods a kid with a skateboard at like 4 years old, he's gonna be a stud.
Yeah,
But
they're
also,
Bro.
I think that when you have a kid and you are a guy that it's like if you're a basketball player, if you go and play like in a rec league, and your kid's a little kid and he watches you play in the rec league, the kid's gonna want to play basketball, right, or whatever sport you're playing.
Yeah.
When I'm older, I'm gonna do that.
Well, I feel like when I have a kid, I'm taking him to the skate park, but I don't want to be the dad that is like using the skate park as
Yeah.
like a babysitting
Well,
Yeah.
see, my thing would be like, I'm gonna go skate. They know I go skate. Maybe they're interested in it. Maybe they're not. Whatever, kind of thing. But not gonna force them to do that shit.
You can't force your kids to do anything.
Nah.
You just gotta give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that's the fairest way to do it, because you see some of these kids that get burnt out from these sports because they're like, shit, I didn't want to skateboard in the first place. I see my dad do it, and I thought it was cool, and then he pushed me to do it, and now I don't want to
Right.
disappoint him.
Right.
So I think
I didn't want to quit.
Yeah.
Is the number one.
Yeah, exactly. And you
I
don't
had,
wanna
I had a
disappoint
mom,
your
which
parents,
was great. She let me quit anything I wanted to quit.
except for crap.
I still love you, Anthony.
Oh yeah, we should probably wrap this bad boy.
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, we
let's
should
do
wrap
it.
it up.
Yeah.
We should
All
wrap
right,
it up.
thanks for tuning
Julian,
in.
thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, bro.
Alex,
Yeah, of course.
Nolan,
Yeah.
everybody, this has been the most amazing trip of my entire life.
Whoa,
Wow.
heavy.
Fucking
No, it's a
in on
very
that
I
one.
am
fun-
Julian Erosa.
It's a very
So-
fun.
Fucking juicy
it's-
jam, gay 69. What's up?
Snapchat.
It's been a
Yeah.
very fun
Yeah.
night.
I need to
It's been
change
very
that, I
fun.
think. Nah, fuck that.
Check out the
You
clips
did.
on YouTube, YouTube the Setup podcast, and we'll be putting up clips of this trip, all the shit we were talking about.
Skateboarding, yes.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And also the podcast if you
Yeah.
want to listen on
Yeah.
alternate stuff. Well, I don't know why you would listen this far and then listen to them.
I'm over here.
It's a really insane. Like, this is an insane podcast. Whoever has gotten here, I love you.
Yeah, way to be. You're probably Uber
Actually,
driving.
no, wait. No.
And their Uber
Actually-
drivers, are the guys that are hopping in are just like, what the fuck, man?
I should say this. Whoever has gotten here, thanks, Mom.
Hey, also, I'll say something. If you are an
Yeah.
Uber driver or like a car delivery guy, this is what I do. I put one earbud in my ear. The other one is out. It's the one that they can mainly see. The other one just kind of looks like it's like a Bluetooth attachment.
yeah.
And I listen to that for 8 hours. Sometimes the amount I drive.
Yeah.
And then if they start talking, I hit a little pause, quick little pause.
Yeah.
I start talking to them, so
Yeah.
you can listen like nonstop. Set up podcast.
Yeah.
That's a setup for other
That was me.
people.
That was me
Yeah.
plugging
Thank
the
you
cat.
so
But
much
I do
for
do
coming
that.
in.
So
Everybody, give it
Guys.
up for Nolan. Give it up for Alex. Give it up for
Anthony.
Julian.
Everybody.
come
We're
on.
everybody.
It's been
I
a
appreciate
very
it.
Yeah.
fun time.
all right. See you guys.
Good night.
This has been a Podaholics Comedy Network presentation. Podaholics.com